9 Ryan Blake, 10 Simon Thomas and 11 Ryan Laville. And on the bench, 12, 14 Ryan Towner, 15 Connor Wood, 16 Mark Nwoji and 17 Jasper. Away at a wedding at the weekend, I understand, and he's now back in the game. And also the very, very experienced Darren Percy, who's been around quite a bit. We'll touch that in a minute, but the referee's just going in and explaining to the bench what is happening, and because of the slick surface, he might just be having a word, just saying, okay, well, let's all be sensible here. It's quite a slick pitch. There was a little bit of almost a touch of standing water, but the rain's lessened in the last half an hour. And Jamie McClure's just getting a few of the players together, just an equally short, stocky figure of Fotheringham for Chesham United. Just shaking hands. Goal, Somerville to the right-hand side of us is wearing an all-blue kit. And to our left-hand side, we're just about getting ready to get on our way. Final few people make their way into the key, staying as we are. So Slough will be playing from right to left. Their last three after winning their first game, drawn down by a number of injuries. And yeah, the MyFC's Rebels Radio, or through the MyFC forum, MyFC being the sponsor of the radio outage here for Slough. Mr. Hillier just checking with the final players, and we're underway immediately. And Slough pumped the ball forward through George Short in the direction of Dobson, but well headed away, but returned with Parsons. And the ball's not spending a lot of time on the deck at the moment, but York comes bundling out defence, flicked on by Cornell, but there's no one really reacting there. And Fletcher wins the ball well there, and Fletcher passes it back to his keeper. The keeper clears long, and now it's up with the Slough defence to act and clear it. And Rhys York, no nonsense, pops it out of play, and we pause for breath at the moment. But just waiting for my co-commentator to turn up. As in non-league football, you get some small kind of teams with people helping out, and I think Aid's hopefully doing the gate today. The traffic's been bad in a number of places, so there's a lot of people still waiting to come into the ground, as the ball's in the Chesham half down to our left hand side, and it's bouncing around, fighting for possession, and it's ended up with it being a Chesham throw down to the left hand side, just inside their half. It's passed out and then volleyed well forward by Lynn in the left back position, and York, no nonsense again, chips the ball forward, and Fletcher's going to head it back to his keeper. Gore's got plenty of time to roll it out to Fletcher down in the right back channel. Looking up the line, simple ball in the direction of Smith. Smith gives the ball back inside to Captain Fotheringham, and Chesham playing good football, and now down the right hand side attacking is Smith. Smith knocks the ball in the direction of Blake, but Blake wasn't quite sharp to it, and that was good positive intent there by Chesham. They've started brightly in these first 5 minutes or so, but the ball's back with Somerville. Long clearance out of his hands in the direction of Cornell. Cornell up, but Peirce is there as well, but it's bounced all the way through, and Whittam has an opportunity, but I think Alex Brown stuck out a long leg there and managed to divert the ball well, but it's out for a Slough throw-in. But that was an opportunity, and the first show of the conditions where the ball just skidded on a little bit and caught the Chesham defence out slightly, and Whittam was almost in there. Whittam seems to have started on the left, George Frith on the right a little bit, so people moving around a little bit as we are, but Chesham seem to be playing one up top very much by themselves, but McClurg's just pickpocketed the ball there, and he's 25 yards from goal, decides to take a shot. It's a low trajectory, not very powerful, and it's just dribbling along the floor, and it will now be clearance for Gore. Decides to throw out left to left back David Lynn on the far side. Chips the ball up the line in the direction of Blake. Blake controls it well, just in front of the duck out, but he's handled it there, and the Slough bench were claiming for it, and it was done quickly. And Fraser returning to the team in the place of Moran. Quick ball up the line to George Frith. George Frith into Cornell's feet. Back to Fraser. Fraser overcomplicated it a little bit there, and Chesham have the opportunity to break away on the halfway line and try and set Thomas on his way. And Thomas now down in the left wing channel up against York, looking to come inside, but goes round the outside of York, but York's still in attendance. He's on the edge of the box now, passes it back out in the direction of Fotheringham. Fotheringham, left-footed chip, but it's blocked by George Short, and it's almost out in the far right-hand corner, but it's just been battled in there, and the ball's still in play, and finally it gets popped out for a throw-in to Chesham, and Chesham slightly attacking here to start off with. There's obviously going to be a planned move here, because there's a big throw coming, because Ballard has gone over to take this. So Ballard's making his way to the far side. It takes it short to Lynn, Slough asleep, tries to cross the ball in, but George Frith shuts it down well, and that's the first ball out of the ground today. So it's just yet to settle here. If you're just joining us, we've played 3.5 minutes. It's goalless, but Chesham has started slightly brighter. It's a very slick surface. The sun's almost peeking through. It's raining, but it's quite bright, even though it's raining, and we're just waiting for the long throw on the far side to be brought in by Ballard. Ballard lining up almost in front of the burger van in the right-hand corner here in the ground, looking for the big figures of, I think it's going to be Brown as the target, but it's headed away at the near post by McClure, but it falls only as far as Captain Fotheringham, who's, as you may hear from some of the jeers, his shot goes high and wide as he volleys it from about 20 yards out, just outside the D. And I think that might threaten my car, to be honest, but hopefully not, as Jake Somerville races to go and get the ball back and get us underway. So not a lot in between the two teams right at the moment. Both teams just kind of feeling it out at the moment, feeling the conditions out. Fotheringham's just kind of settling himself back into the game because he was away at a wedding, I believe, at the weekend. Kick from Somerville up to halfway, and it's a battle there, and Dobson's up for it, but it's well defended there by Brown, and now flicked on by Laville in the direction of Blake, and Blake's up against Fraser, but Fraser hooks the ball clear, but only as far as left back Lynn, who seems to have been everywhere in these first 5 or so minutes, but he puts it out of play, and it's a throw into Slough, which Fraser will take down in the right back position, midway inside their own half, as we come up to the 5-minute mark here at Holloways. It's quite a wet old day, but I don't think there was ever any doubt that this game was going to go ahead, as once again the rather experienced Purse heads the ball clear, and it's bouncing around in midfield. McClurg under a bit of pressure, but McClurg hooks the ball clear, and it goes all the way through everybody, and now it has Purse in pursuit, but out comes Gore quite a long way and flicks the ball on. Slough have maintained possession though, and it's back with their defence. Hollis having his first few touches of the ball, out to left back Ryan Parsons. A little bit of time back to Hollis, and now Hollis will go all the way back to Somerville. And he clears it well off the ground, and now it has both Dobson interested and Cornell, and it looks almost like Slough are almost playing a more of a 4-4-2 rather than 4-5-1. That pass just overhit to Fraser, asking a little bit much, and Lynn will gobble that up and take the throw in quickly. Gets play underway really sharply, and gets the ball inside to Ballard. Ballard to Purse. Ballard now back to Lynn in the far. They're playing the ball around nicely in defence here, Chesham, up to the feet of Thomas, and Thomas then back to Fotheringham, but his pass wasn't that well judged, and it's overhit, and it's out for a goal kick to Slough. But Chesham seemed to have settled slightly better in these first 5 or so minutes. I'm still waiting for my co-commentator to turn up. Hopefully he's here and about today, and he's going to get off his duties. He might just be picking up a burger, I can't quite see. It is a lot easier, and you have to hear less of me if there is 2 of us here, so I'm hoping he does turn up, otherwise I will be flying solo, but you'll have to put up with me for that, as the long kick clearance comes from Somerville, finds Cornell takes time, chests it down, and now Dobson cutting in on the right hand side, chips it in the direction of Cornell, flicked by Purse, and it's just to the left hand post of Gore, and it will be the first corner of the game, and it will be Slough to take, and Dobson makes his way down far side. 6.5 minutes gone or so, and Dobson just waiting for the signal to see what free kick is going to be taken. He's going to be an in-swinger with his left foot, bending it in from the far side. All the big players have gone forward. Chesham leaving Thomas and Blake upfield, but on the far side, hands on hip, Dobson just waits for the movement to start. Dobson flicks the ball in towards the near post, but headed well clear by Lim. Snaffled on the edge by George Frith. George Frith takes a moment, shoots, and a good acrobatic save there from Gore, who found it rising in the centre of the goal towards his face, just tipped the ball over, and now the corner for Slough, but on the opposite side, so Alex Whittam will take this, and again another signal comes from Hollis. Hollis is signalling where he wants the ball and what free kick he's going to have here. So Slough putting a little bit of pressure on here, and they're just sending some more defenders back here. There's a bit of movement around there in the box, towards the back post this time. Short underneath it, headed down into the ground, safely in the arms of Gore, but that was slightly better, slightly more positive from Slough there. Ball once again thrown out to Lynn on the far left-hand side. Lynn, long ball forward in the direction of Laville. Laville chasing after it with Parsons in pursuit. It just stops a little bit. It held up in the puddle, and it's a goal kick. As I'm joined by Adrian, who's just coming in, just to welcome us. And there's it's good timing. He's only 7.5 minutes late. You can leave the door if you like, Adrian. It's all right. We'll let there be a little bit of noise. How are you?
Wet is the word.
Stop moaning, you should have brought an umbrella. What have you made of the first 5 minutes?
I haven't seen anything because I've been stuck in the turnstile.
Okay, well there was just 2.
I just saw a shot which keeper saved.
Yeah, that was a decent shot from Whittam, as Slough are awarded a free kick just inside the Chesham half on the far side, which Dobson will take. All your information's in there. Open it up. No, in here. Open your folder up. Sorry,
one pair of hands.
We just got to let him settle. He hasn't turned up with a burger this week, at least. But
I haven't had a chance.
Slough once again, just making themselves prepared to take a free kick from just inside the half. Dobson with it. drives it. It's a low one. It's shot off the ground though, but well clear by Fotheringham. And now it's a chase. It's a 2-on-2 chase, and Fraser's making his way back, but it's going all the way through to Somerville, and Somerville will take it into his area, pounce on it as Blake's in pursuit. Just bumps him slightly, but rolls the ball out to Fraser, who's in choice of Moran. I don't think Moran's done much wrong, but.
No, Moran's been very good this season, but I think Sean Fraser gives you more of an attacking prowess, especially at home.
And I think also with a squad as you are, it gives you the opportunity to keep the ball. As Dobson's played him well by Alex Whittam in midfield, and now he's 30 yards from goal central. He passes the ball out a bit overhit for Fraser. Fraser's going to need wings to get that. Fraser does well to cut it back, and he cut it into the edge of the box and well cleared there by Smith, I think it was, and it's a Slough throw. And Slough pressing in the last few minutes. They've had a couple of corners, but Chesham playing the ball around nicely still. Yeah,
I think the surface today it's looking really good, bearing in mind the rain we've had, but it's going to make some good football for today.
Yeah, as the ball's back with Rhys York, who's seen a lot of the ball, scored at both ends on Saturday, chips the ball out left to Alex Whittam, who seems to have lined up well out on the left, and play the ball off the defender there, off Fletcher, who's returning to centre back from playing, to right back after playing centre back on Saturday when they in their 1-0 defeat at home to Corby, the current league leaders. And short ball there to Dobson. Dobson tries to drive it in, but finds Short's feet on the edge of the box. Back to Whittam. Whittam on the edge of the box. Just overtouched a little bit too much, and Blake's in there, but it's hooked clear by Brown. Holds his nose afterwards, but York heads the ball back. Cornell on it and appeals that he was offside, but it's flicked out towards the left towards Dobbo, but headed well back by Fletcher to Gore, and it's all tidied up now. Yeah,
it looks like James Dobson's given a free role. He seems to be partnering Adam Cornell.
Yeah,
like a number 10 kind of thing, just off the striker.
I did call it as a 4-5-1 when I saw the team lineup, but it actually seems that they are playing more of a 4-4-2 as the ball's down in front of us. Can't see a lot. There's an umbrella there, but Chesham are attacking. But Rhys York's in there, clears the ball well, and it'll find Cornell. Cornell heads the ball in the direction of McClurg, but cut out well by Pearce. The experience telling there as Chesham now look to move the ball forward with Blake. Blake passes the ball out left to the ever-present Lynn, who's been very impressive during this first 10-15 minutes. Inside to Thomas. Thomas just towards the edge of the box, tries to play in Blake, and Blake's gambling on, but York, no nonsense, clears it up to halfway where Dobson heads the ball in field, and Cornell's done well. Those two are combining well, passes it across field to Whittam. Whittam's struggling to catch that, but he does, and now Parsons is set free. He's got a little bit of pace. He's only got the right back ahead of him now at the moment. He decides to try and go round him. He's driving towards the byline, but a good challenge coming in from Fletcher, and it will be a throw into Slough.
Yeah, it's nice to see Ryan Parsons get forwards. He's an excellent player, loves to attack, but this season he's I don't know if it's the formation, but he seems to have been playing more of a left back and not getting forward as much. So
yeah,
it's good to see that.
I think in the 4-5-1 he struggles a little bit with that as the ball's being played around in the left-hand edge of the box. It's still another Slough throw-in. Yeah, I think in that kind of formation it's a little bit of a struggle. It does definitely look as if Chesham are playing a 4-5-1 with they're leaving, it would appear, Thomas up front a little bit by himself, and then the rest of them are tucking in as the ball's down on the touchline. George Short crosses across, venomous cross, flicked on by Cornell, but it's a corner being awarded as I think it was Pearce in there, tight to him, just flicked the ball over his own bar, and Slough have their third corner of the game. We've played nearly 12 minutes and it remains goalless, but Slough certainly applying a little bit of pressure here and making the most of this greasy surface.
Yeah, this rain is, I think the word is persistent is the word we would be using, and it's making that ball zip around.
It is, as Dobson on the far side, near corner, in towards the near post, it's battered off, and again I think it came off Pearce, as it was just flicked on, and Cornell's holding his arms up in the air, claiming he was pushed, and a good delivery again by Dobson, but he'll have another attempt at it, the fourth corner in the first 12 minutes or so.
Yeah, a ball just cleared Cornell there, and it's hit Pearce, and it's gone out, and he stood there arguing whether it's a corner, but the referee's given it, and he's just booted the ball way away, and the referee's let that go.
Well, you are still slightly less impartial. You're covering up your Slough shirt today, at least.
There is a reason for that, but we won't go into that on the radio.
Is it not because it's not been washed?
It's because I've been working in the rain this morning. I've got no other clothes that are dry.
As the ball's driven into Dobson, but it's headed out. Dobson smashes one along the floor, well gathered at his near post by Gore, who's a very experienced, very good quality keeper, and he's up on his feet early, and it'll be interesting to see if he tries to roll it out again, because it seems to be his preferred choice. He's set Lynn on his way a couple of times quickly as the kit man just makes his way, looking slightly drowned down before us towards the end. There's a few.
I think everyone's looking a bit drowned today.
A few hardy souls there to the end that's uncovered with which Slough are attacking. They're still doing it, but your flag's not down there, I notice.
It's in the bag. I haven't had time.
As Fotheringham and McClurg are having a right old battle in midfield and a great ball across field, but just too long for Lynn by Fotheringham. He's settling back well back into this game after he missed out on Saturday, I think, because he was away for personal reasons at a wedding.
Yeah, it's good to see Slough having a good attack at Chesham. They're a bit of a bogey team for the Rebels, and the last time we played them in the playoffs, we were already one down after about a minute, so a lot better than last time.
And Blake's got the ball now. He's going to run at the Slough defence from the right hand side, but Frith comes back, picks his pocket well, and now sets Fraser on his way. Fraser up in the direction of Cornell, who jumps high to head the ball down into Dobson. Dobson on the right hand side, cuts his side, pulls the trigger, deflected, and it gathered at the second attempt by Gore. But Slough are pushing here, and Dobson looks lively in this free position.
Yeah, he's coming on the right hand side, and Witham's pushing up on the left, and Cornell's your main striker, so it's more 4-3-3 at home, but Dobson's really getting into this game.
As the ball's gone out just down in front of us for a Slough throw, and there's plenty of shout coming from Brown at the back, and also Pearce just trying to... Pearce, who's played pretty much everywhere, hasn't he?
He has indeed, but you've got two kind of Slough legends playing for Chesham today. Alex Brown is loved by the fans, fantastic player, wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's a heck of a defender. And then you've got Andy Ballard that used to captain Slough a few seasons back,
who just headed the ball back to his keeper, and Dobson's in pursuit and cleared now by Gore. Long free header there for Thomas, and Thomas, will he pick up the second ball? No, Hollis jumps in quickly, hooks the ball out of play, and Chesham just relieve the pressure here at the moment, but it's yet to really settle down. But the conditions aren't at all bad. The rain seems persistent, but it's not too bad. As just try and play for the 1-2 there in front of us, but it's all a little bit bitty. It's skidding off, and the players just haven't quite adjusted to it.
Yeah, I think Slough adjusted to conditions much better. Chesham just seemed to be playing the long ball up to Thomas, the number 10 up front, and then they've got the likes of Fotheringham, Smith and Blake trying to run off them, but at the moment they're not really getting into the game.
Yeah, it seems quite a fluid position with Lavelle on one wing, Blake kind of on the other, but here comes Fotheringham up to halfway line, but misplaces pass straight to George Frith, back to left back Ryan Parsons, hooks it forward with his right foot. That's safe, but not a good quality header there for Fletcher, and it has Cornell interested. Back to Gore once again, and Gore chips the ball forward up towards the halfway line, and it's targeted at Thomas. Hollis and Thomas interlink, and now flicked on by Laville, but Short comes away, just gets clipped there as he passes the ball, but the referee's playing a good advantage there, and
he's offside. Dobson's come from offside.
He's going to go back for that first free kick. That's good refereeing.
It is good refereeing. It's nice to see a decent referee at this level.
As yes, just to explain there, Short was fouled but managed to hook the ball in the direction of Dobson, who was coming back from an offside position. So rather than he played a short advantage and then still awarded Slough the free kick there.
Yeah, I think the referees at this level so far this season have been a bit indecisive, but the referee's made his mind up and then he's explained why he's made it, which is very good.
Apparently you're being told on the MyFC forum, don't cover up your Slough shirt. We want bias, but I don't think we do really. As Somerville launches the ball into the edge of the box, Cornell underneath it, but Pearce comes through the back, wins it well, then flicked on well by Chesham, who are looking to clear the ball well. Hooked very high and mighty. It'll go all the way through to Somerville. It'll almost kick on out of play as oh, and Somerville nearly slipped there.
Almost.
I think the ball would have safely made its way out though for a goal kick. As plays it short out to Hollis. Hollis with his left foot chips the ball forward. Pearce just under control, pass it through to Smith, and Smith all the way back with quite a bit of meat on it, back to Gore. Gore strikes the ball long and high in the direction of Thomas again. Thomas up against York, and York wins that, but York flicks that on, so has Somerville scrambling just to keep it in, as we've played 16.5 minutes.
Yeah, it's a good battle there between York and Hollis are both picking up Thomas, who's he's got to be about, what, 6'4", 6'5", and they're taking it in turns to pick him up and play off him. It's very good work there by the two centre-backs.
Chesham almost playing a 4-3-3 at times. They're leaving both Blake and Laville quite a way forward, aren't they? So they're putting the Slough back four under a bit of pressure. Yeah,
they do like to attack. I know that they like to play some really attacking football, the Chesham manager.
And once again, it's Hollis, this time up against Laville, plays it through, but Blake's offside. Slough will quickly get on the ball and try and take it quickly. They should get on with this, but no, they're happy to just relieve pressure, slow it down a little bit. As I was going to say the rain subsides, but it's just finer than it was before.
It's still persistent, that's the main thing. But good crowd today there, John.
Yeah, and I think it's a shame it's only been spoilt slightly by the weather, as right back comes through the back of the ball, pass it through to Parsons. Now Parsons has a little look, tries to play the ball down to the far corner, and there's not really on anyone's wavelength. I think Pearce will just guide that out. But instead
he slipped and cleared it out for a throw into Slough.
And so it's an attacking throw in which Parsons will take behind all the umbrellas. We can't quite see exactly what's going on down there. We'll see the ball come out, but there's a good array of different colour umbrellas there, and there isn't there. What's your favourite type of umbrella?
One that keeps you dry.
Good, excellent answer. The level of this commentary is going up here all the time. As Peirce comes through, but doesn't get a lot on that, and just awarded a free kick as I think McClurg went in underneath him on the ball, and Chesham will have an opportunity to get this clear. When was the last time you saw Chesham play Slough?
I believe that would have been the playoff final, which was a few years ago.
The 4-0 game.
The 4-0 game when Slough didn't start very well, didn't play very well throughout most of the game, and deservedly lost the game 4-0, but better today.
Yeah, it's a better start from Slough at the moment, despite the fact that they are crippled by injuries. Both their ginger strikers and both the Harrises unfit, so they're missing pretty much 90 goals from last season just with the players they've got off the pitch, with Ed Smith, with Johnny Dyer, with Warren Harris, as Whitton does well to cut out the first ball, but he's unlucky and it gets through to Smith, and a strong tackle comes through.
Oh, referee won the ball.
And, that's a poor decision against Parsons. Parsons clearly got the ball there, and Smith's lying in a heap. And some of the locals aren't very happy because he went to ground, and Parsons is complaining. Smith's lying prostrate on the ground.
It was a heavy tackle, and the conditions he slid through, and he's clearly won the ball. You can see that. But the main thing there was the referee awarded the free kick, which in his mind is his decision. But while Smith was laying down on the ground, who's got up without any treatment now, Andy Ballard wanted to take a free kick, so he obviously didn't care whether he was injured or not.
No, so just a little talking to. McClurg's heavily involved as well, just expressing their dissatisfaction to Hillier, because that seemed like quite a soft free kick. I mean, in these conditions, yes, you've got to tell your players to be sensible, but Parsons won that ball clearly, and then a good second afterwards, he collided with the player.
Yeah, and everyone else could see it. The people in front of us, the main stand, they clearly thought the same thing, but just praise the referee, and then he goes and makes a decision like that.
Yeah, so first real opportunity set piece for Chesham. They've got plenty of players in the box. Every single Slough player back in their own third of the pitch as we wait for the free kick to be taken in. It's driven in, flicked on by Peirce. Has Somerville diving, but it goes glancing past the far post, and Slough have been let off there. Yeah, I think justice was done.
I think Jake was making the most of that there. He's maybe he doesn't like the kit man. He's trying to get his...
Perhaps he's just feeling a bit Tom Daly because of the weather.
Arthur Daly?
Not Arthur, no, he's not.
Who's
trying
Tom
to set
Daly?
The diver.
That's what I thought you were calling Jake a diver.
Yeah, he was. He just dived superbly. As Short seems to be getting his eyes. I can't believe he's given it that way. The referee's assistant seemed to be giving the free kick against Short there for Brown, but it seemed to be that it was 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. As Short seemed to be getting his shirt.
Yeah, both going for the same ball, but the referee's going for a bit of a burgundy and blue kind of purple patch.
Yeah, and not in a good way, as a purple patch might suggest. But yeah, we've played 21 minutes here. It remains goalless. Not a huge amount of goal chances. Dobson's had a few efforts for Slough, a few corners with a little bit of pressure, but it's yet to really settle down as McClurg plays the ball out to Parsons, and he's up against the player Smith, who likes to go on the ground, but back to Whittam. Whittam all the way back to Hollis, and Hollis didn't play that blind back to Somerville, and Somerville had to be sharp and alert. He's got plenty of backspin on that. Golfers will be proud of that as Lynn comes through strongly, but the ball's lost in midfield, and now Short has an opportunity to chip the ball through. He tried to do too much with that, and Peirce meat and drink for a player of his age and experience, and then not a subtle push there by York on Thomas.
And the referee there's blown for the foul, but he should have played play on because Ryan Blake had the ball.
I think he gave him a little bit of advantage, and I think the referee may get a bit tired of these. He seems to have been relatively consistent so far and quite strong, but once again it looks like it's going to be Smith on the ball, 40 yards from goal, central. All the attacking Chesham players on and around the edge of the box.
They've got a lot of height in the back, haven't they? There's Alex Brown's tall lad, Peirce, Fletcher number 2, he's tall.
Ballard's not too short as the ball's played off towards the left. It's a chip ball through towards the late runner Peirce. Peirce goes to head the ball across, but it's blocked well, and George Frith on the far right hand side. It looks a bit puddlish over there. Chips the ball forward, but it's only as far as
Alex Brown,
who still thinks he's playing for Slough because he managed to find Whittam with that ball. But it's Slough just struggling to get themselves clear at the moment, and it's now through with Blake. Blake's got the opportunity to keep it in that far right hand corner, but York puts a foot through the ball, gets the ball out of play, and Slough just under a little bit of pressure these last few minutes. Yeah,
Chesham coming back into the game, but they're not really creating anything of any note, John. So as long as it stays like that, I think Slough will be happy.
Mark Godding, I love your favourite umbrella. That does look a bit like Adrian on a bad day, the photo that you've sent us through. It's very interesting. If you do want to contact us at MyFC's Rebel Radio, wherever you may be, please do contact us, or through the MyFC forum. We're here for you, and if there's anything that's not working, if it's too quiet, too noisy, please let us know. As the long throw comes in on the far side, driven into the far post, headed well by George Short away, and now Whittam's got the opportunity, but he's being pursued by Smith, and Whittam plays it across, but only finds Fotheringham, and Fotheringham back to the right back, and Dobson manages to just flick that, and now George Short has a go at a bouncing ball, and it's not very clever defending there as it falls in towards the edge of the box, and it falls to Blake, and Blake's trying to twist and turn, pull the trigger, but Ryan Parsons is in there to block, and now it's out for a throw into Chesham on the near side. But Slough a little bit of 6s and 7s now. They need to up their game as Fotheringham in the right hand corner looks to get into the corner, passes it back, but does it blind and only finds Dobson, and Dobson chips it up the line. Has Cornell interested in that? Clearance by Purse wasn't his best.
Play wide, that's it, good
Pass
ball.
it right to Frith with Fraser overlapping. Fraser, pass it back to Frith to Dobson's feet. Dobson with Ballard in pursuit, but Frith playing well. He's doing well early on, got plenty of the ball, and he's using it wisely.
I know his grandparents are here today watching, so they'll be pleased with how he's doing.
As Frith once again shows the ball, he's getting on it quite a lot. He's now looking for a simple ball, pass it out to York. York to Fraser. They're Slough moving the ball around. Once again, Frith on the ball, tries to chip the ball forward for the line, but it's overhit slightly. But you can't criticise for actually wanting to get on the ball and try and play it around. No,
not at all. But the problem again with the 4-3-3, John, is that there's no real width on the thing, and you're expecting people like Fraser and Ryan Parsons to get forwards, and at the moment, Chesham are keeping them from playing that.
Yeah, as they're playing a very, very fluid system as well. As York's trying to get the ball down, he zips it across the pitch out left to Parsons. Parsons under a bit of pressure from Thomas, but clips the ball forward, and well won there, but he's got a bit of a 50p head there, Fletcher, and it's now out for a Slough throw on halfway. We're over halfway through the first half. We're 25 minutes through this game. No clear chances really for either team as yet, and it remains goalless here. But it's an entertaining game, isn't it?
Yeah, just lacking a few shots on goal in the last 10-15 minutes. I think it must be since I've come into the box, actually. Yeah,
as that ball seemed to be a handball there against Fletcher. Slough certainly appealed, but nothing doing by the referee. And David Lynn now has the opportunity to drive forward. Does a nice little Cruyff turn inside to lose Dobson. Skipping over halfway, tries to play the ball. It looked through to Smith, but he's actually found Fletcher. Fletcher to Smith on the right. Chesham now attacking down the right of Slough. Cuts inside by Smith. Left foot cross towards the far post. It's a great cross, well headed away by York, who concedes the corner. But that was good defending and good play from Chesham.
Yeah, I think Alex Witham's got to be a little bit better when he's not got the ball there. He turned his back on the game, and that allowed Ashley Smith to come inside and put that ball in. That was well done by York. But Witham defensively, he's not on it today, I'm afraid.
Yeah, he seemed to be quite good going forward, as Cornell's the only man staying up on the halfway line as the ball's taken short back to the taker, and McClure comes to cut it down, but it's an outswinger. It's bouncing around in there. It bounces up in front of Thomas, who shins that over the bar and hits the many, many busy people. Lots of Slough fans decided to hide away in that shed-covered end to our right-hand side.
Yeah, I think that's maybe affected the attendance today, John. Although there's a good crowd here, the majority are congregated either behind the goal with the covered end or in the stand that we're in. So I think if it had been a nice hot sunny day, you'd have been quite a few more people here.
Yeah, and let's hope the match sponsors, today's match sponsors for the match is the Barmy Army, and for the ball is Drive Time Coaches, but I hope they both get their value worth today. It's good to get match ball sponsorship and sponsorship here at Slough.
I am part of the Barmy Army.
And therefore you have sponsored today's game. What a brilliant effort as Thomas is set away down in the right-hand channel, right into the right corner, pursued by York there, but crossed in by Ballard. Diving head by York, and then it's almost just hit Laville on the far post, because I don't think he was expecting it. But Chesham just probing.
Yeah, coming down the right-hand side, they're getting a lot of attacks in. It's because that Ryan Parsons got Witham in front of him, and like I said before, he's not defensively as good as maybe someone else like Dobson is. So they're getting a bit of joy here. Maybe the managers need to look at changing the formation that they're playing, or changing a couple of the players.
They may move a couple of players around at some point. I think it's just praise to Chesham that they are getting in a little bit down the right. Parsons, as you said, this season has to do quite a lot of defending back there as the ball's out right towards Dobson, but well won in the air. Chesham look to a man, a strong physical unit, don't they? Yeah,
they've always been a physical unit, so it's no change there, but they're winning a lot of these balls in the air, so Slough need to get it on the ground. Yeah. Play to their strengths.
As there's outrage on the far side from the management team of Chesham, particularly led by, I think, manager Andy Leese, who's been there since 2007, since he took over from Potter's Bar. And there seems to be Dobson and Brown seem to be getting getting familiar with one another down there. There's all a little bit going on with Dobson.
Yeah, just a few elbows being pushed around, a bit of
and they're
pushing.
getting grabbed and shoved there as Dobson just tries to find himself a bit of room. Goes inside to Whittam. Whittam out left, and this is going to be a 50-50, which Parsons won't bottle out of, but it's well won there by Fletcher, and Fletcher's now on his way down the right hand side into the empty space, and McClurg's in pursuit as well as Whittam, and back to Smith, controlled well by McClurg. McClurg into the feet corner. This is better from Slough. George Frith does well. Great ball through to McClurg. He's gone through in the left-hand channel. He's being pursued by the right back. Tries to pass the ball back from to Whittam, but Whittam's now got it. Quick throw taken by McClurg. The captain taking it on his own responsibility to try and up the tempo, which I think is good. As York comes bursting through from the back, he's getting a nosebleed, but he's played an absolutely fantastic ball into Sean Fraser on the right hand side. Drills the ball in towards the near post. Brown heads it up, and is it going to go out for a throw or a corner? It's difficult to see. We'll wait for the referee's signal, and it looks like it's a corner to Slough. So Slough just pressing there. That was good football there, those couple of minutes. And Aids just having a little stand-up. He's causing his corners in carnage. You just tell us what's going on.
I can't see anything. There's still...
Oh, well.
Yep, still a corner to Slough.
It's still a corner. Okay, good. On this near side, Whittam to take. It's gonna be an in-swinger. The clock's still running. Hey, that's all that matters. As we're just waiting to see where this corner goes. I'm gonna have a little bit of a stand up for a minute. It'll help wake me up a little bit. As
yeah, just a Fletcher with a little bit of a head injury there. He's just had a.
The referee just had it checked out. Do you like the cleanliness of our windows, by the way? As Whittam drills it in towards the far post. Dobson rises, but it's headed out by Purse, but only as far as McClurg on the edge of the box. Back out to Whittam. Whittam with the in-swinger. Will cross it in towards the deep far post. Punched clear well by Gore, and it's fallen out now to George Frith, who's had a heavy touch, conceded the throw-in, but that was a good chance there and good keeping. Yeah,
that was a great effort. I think that Witham meant that as a cross, but it ended up being a shot on target. And Gore, full-length dive, he's pushed that out, and unfortunately Frith's made a slight over kick there.
And once again,
it's Fletcher's down with a head injury.
Yeah. Fletcher's just holding his head. I'm not sure where it connected or where it collided.
He slid in with McClurg over in the corner, and that's where he's picked it up from.
As the heavens just temporarily opening, quite a large downpour at the moment, and we're just waiting to see as some of the players go for shelter. They're just going for some advice with their management team and their bench. Yeah, it's a shame for Slough. Thomas isn't quite back at the races yet. I think he hasn't quite shaken off his illness that he's got, so he's only fit enough for the bench. Otherwise, it may have changed what they offered. Luke Knight's obviously back on the bench, but again, I don't think he's quite there as yet, as is Jake Parsons. So there's not a lot of options here today for the joint management team. And I know you talk about changes. I think it will have to be more with the 11 bodies that are out there, because when you look at the bench, actually, for once, what we were saying 2 weeks ago was an amazingly strong, and you're going to struggle to select 16. It's gone completely the other way now. Yeah, but I think that what you see is the management team here are quite savvy with what they do. They often swap Witham and Dobson when they're playing wide. Frith can play more of an attacking role rather than sit in, so you can maybe play it as a diamond, with Frith being the furthest forward. Yeah. Always got the options there. And Cornell hasn't had too many 90s under his belt either. So play's back underway. We're just after the treatment for the injury there. But it's bubbling around in this real pelting down rain at the moment as a ball is oofed up into the air by York. It's out of the play. But on comes Fletcher up again to bring Chesham United back to 11 aside at the moment, and Frith plays a short ball forward to Short, and Short chips the ball forward. It's hit off Fotheringham, and it's well won there by Alex Brown, who hasn't made too much of a difference. And Thomas wins the header there, but flicked on again by York. York's been very, very strong these first few games. Has he impressed you? Yeah, he has indeed. Just a little clash there between Alex Brown and James Dobson again, and Dobson claiming he's got an elbow in the face. Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch that, because obviously Brown will have extra motivation here. He hasn't played too many games. I know I heard that he had a damaged cheekbone as well, or something like that. That meant that why he wasn't around or playing on Saturday. But he's as strong as an ox. I'm quite surprised that would put him out. But it's now played forward by Slough. It's on the edge of the box, but cleared well by Fletcher. Only up as far as the Chesham bench, and the Chesham management team hiding very well. Again, they don't look like they've got a massive amount on their bench. It looks quite empty, doesn't it, down there on the far side? I know they've
unless everyone's at the burger bar or hiding.
They've named a full 5 subs, but I can't see 5 subs stood there unless the manager's the only other one there. As the ball's bouncing around, flicked on by Fotheringham, but only as far as McClurg on the halfway line, who volleys the ball out left to Parsons to Whittam's feet. Whittam, but with Fletcher in tight control behind him. Just prodded the ball out. It's a good battle down there on the left, isn't it? Two young lads, both trying to be quite strong and trying to take each other on. But so far, Fletcher hasn't put a foot wrong.
Whittam does like to come inside onto his favoured right foot, so it'd be interesting if he starts doing that later. As
a telegraph throw there by Parsons, only found the Chesham player, and now York trying to play the ball through. Dobson tries an elaborate flick, but it only finds Gore's feet, and the rhythm's gone out of the game in the last few minutes. Neither team really taking control.
Yeah, mostly due to that heavy rain that's just come down, John. It's still coming down.
Of the break, and a little bit of instruction from the management team, of which you might have noticed that if you look over the far side next to John Underwood, Trent, the goalkeeping coach, I'm not sure what's happened over the weekend or whether he's had a brilliant weekend, because his hair's changed colour. It's gone from quite a silvery colour, and it's all of a sudden very, very dark.
Would that be just for men then?
Just for goalkeepers, maybe. I'm not sure. But if you have to look at any other photos afterwards, all I'd suggest is that he doesn't go out in the rain. Otherwise, he might get a tan of sorts from his hair. As the long free kick's taken by York in the direction of Cornell. Cornell heads it on, but Cornell was in an offside position. But yeah, if you notice with Trent, his hair has gone from a very dark kind of badgery silver to quite a
badgery silver? What kind of badgers do you know? I thought they were black and white.
Well, they kind of have a bit of silver, don't they? Perhaps I'm thinking of a different animal.
Philip Schofield?
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking of. He's a wolf. As Gore takes the offside kick forward in the direction of Thomas. Thomas, but well won there by York.
Yeah, York's winning this battle against Thomas, and he's given away a few inches in height, but every time the ball's coming, Reece York's there.
Every player looking very sodden out here. Is Ballard takes a bit of an air shot at that, but it's back with Fotheringham. And now to Fletcher. Fletcher chips the ball forward in the direction of Laville. It will kick through to Somerville, though, and Somerville looking quite slick there with his hair all slick back there.
He's not had a lot to do this half, so he's must be sat there and preened himself.
Yeah, with those big white... and it's now setting in the direction of Dobson. Dobson up against Fletcher, and it's fallen through, and Fletcher's heading back towards his own goal. Back to Pearce. Pearce puts Pearce under a little bit of pressure, but cuts well, slips as he clears it, but it gets enough on it. Flicked on well by Laville, and now Thomas down in front of us, trying to get the ball under control. Does finally. Passes it back inside to Fotheringham. Fotheringham, plenty of time, not getting shut down by Slough at all. Drives the ball down to the right, and now Laville under pressure, and Hollis comes across with a strong sliding tackle. That's
no difference to the Ryan Parsons tackle that happened in front of us 10 minutes ago. He slid in, he's got the ball, got the man afterwards, but the referee's given nothing that time.
No, Chesham's still on the attack down the right. Ball in from Ballard. It's from Smith on the far side. It hits Fraser and it's out for a corner on the far side. So Chesham applying a little bit of pressure. They might look to do a quick one here. Slough need to be awake. And as Blake put the ball down, it seemed to splash a little bit. It didn't bounce at all. So I'm saying that far corner, as you're going to see when the corner is taken here by the left back, I think it's Lynn with the ball. You're going to see how much water he kicks as it's an outswinger from that far side in the direction of Pearce. But it's cleared well by Slough, but it's only out as far as Ballard. Ballard drives it, but it only hits McClurg. Out as far as Lynn now. Lynn driving the ball in. Slough under some pressure. Hits Hollis. He didn't know too much about it, but flicked clear by Whittam. And Whittam now to Dobson. And Dobson tries to set an ever so hopeful ball off through to Cornell, but it's not done very well. The ball... Both players panicking a little bit as Ballard drives the ball out left towards Lynn, and Lynn on the halfway line for Chesham just slows things down, puts a foot on the ball, picks a pass, tries to chip a difficult ball through, only finds Fraser in the right back position. George Frith now a bit more calm, holds the ball up, nice pass through to McClurg. McClurg just a heavy touch there, can't quite find Cornell, and again now it's kicked through to Somerville as Somerville handles the ball or pushes it out for a throw in because it was just going to bounce over him.
Yeah, it's the second time Jake's come running out in the first half, and he's flapped at that one and pushed it out for a throw in. He's not sure if the ball's bouncing in the conditions that we've got. Sometimes it's bouncing high, sometimes it's splashing down
and keeping low. Yeah. So long throw in on the far side, Lynn to take for Chesham. Chesham just having the better of it at the moment. That was well cleared again by Reece York, who's sat on the back of Thomas, who seems to be the target for everything. Cornell, who hasn't had so much of the game in the last few minutes.
He's just been tackled. Is that Fotheringham just gone down, tackled by his own player? It looks quite bad.
He looks immediately in a lot of pain. So this could be a bad injury, and the referee's automatically signalling for a substitution. It looked for, I don't know what happened there. It looked like maybe he tweaked a knee or something.
I think he either turned or he turned into one of his own players.
There wasn't a player really very close to him, but he all of a sudden shot up and pulled up. And both management teams are here. We hope this isn't too serious. As if you're joining us, we've played 37 minutes of the first half. It remains goalless. Chesham have been on top in the last 5 or 6 minutes, I'd say. But at the moment, they'd be more concerned that their captain returning to the side, Fotheringham, is in a great difficulty lying prostrate with a physio in attendance, and also his accomplice out there, Smith, is just in close attendance, just seeing what's going on out there. But it's we hope for the best.
Yeah, you could tell there was quite concern, because both Alex Brown and Jamie McClurg, who were the nearest players to him but still not near him, both went over to make sure he was all right. He's obviously in a lot of pain.
And someone's phone's ringing. It's quite noisy. But no, he's still down on the ground prostrate. He's just getting treated. For me, it looked like some sort of a knee injury, that he just seemed to kind of twist or get stuck in the ground.
Stuck in because of the ground's wet. He's caught.
And he's just, he didn't. It wasn't in a tackle. I don't think he was hit by another player. But we've just had a pause, for breath here. So earlier in the day, Burnham played the early game, and they came back from 2-0 down to draw 2-2 at home to Hungerford. So that game's already out of the game. Sounds a little bit like Slough on Saturday, when they were entertaining, quite an entertaining game over there at Poulton, wasn't it? Really.
Yeah, it was. I think when you look back on it, it was actually a really, really good game. But I think at half time, when we were 2-0 down, and not really getting into the game, it was quite dire from a Slough fan's perspective. But I think the conditions and the slope and the weather affected how the teams played. And second half, Slough were by far the better team, and deservedly got back into the game, as they're bringing out a stretcher here for Fotheringham, so it doesn't look good.
Super Kev's just gone and got the stretcher. He's still laying absolutely flat on the ground, and Kev's taking over the stretcher to him. Meanwhile, John Underwood is just giving Whittam some specific instruction. McClurg, meanwhile, talking to Short, and all players just kind of looking on. Similarly, in the Chesham United dugout, there's a little bit of talk going as to what's happening, but the manager, I think Peirce, has come all the way over just to see from. The manager has just come over to see exactly what he thinks is going on. He's just making his way back into the dugout.
Fotheringham's actually got up, so he's standing, but there's still a lot of concern. But he's being helped off the pitch by both physios.
Yeah, he's not going to take any further part in this game. He's just been hobbled off. He's holding his left knee up above the ground, and he gets a good hand from the Slough faithful. And it looks like immediately they've got a substitute ready, but that's a shame for Fotheringham coming back from that. And hopefully, fingers crossed, this isn't too serious for them. As Adrian hunts desperately for a pen.
I wouldn't say desperately, but
well, you look quite
slowly.
That was number 14 coming on then. That's
Ryan Towner.
So this will be interesting. They might have a bit of a reshuffle here. As Towner goes just into the centre of midfield, so Towner coming on there for Fotheringham. So it looks like straight, but Towner's picking the ball up. As we're just waiting for the play to get underway. They're just waiting. I think they're waiting for the stretcher to be put back in place and Kev to find his position. And the referee now signals. So we've that was a good probably 4 or 5 minute stoppage there.
Yeah, that's and it's a shame actually. Fotheringham's a very good player. He's always played well against Slough, and it's a shame when a player like that gets an injury from something innocuous as just turning.
Yeah. As Dobson flicks the ball on in the direction of Whittam, but well cut out by the right back Fletcher, and Fletcher now driving up to halfway. McClurg's in pursuit, cuts back inside. Simple ball through to the new man on the pitch, but chipped forward there by Smith in the direction of Thomas, but free header from Parsons. Parsons up in the air, but once again it's Towner picks up the ball. George Short now under pressure in the middle and only heads it as far away as Lynn, and Lynn kicks the ball through towards Thomas, but Somerville's there as a number of the Slough faithful just make their way around. I think they're quite keen to get out of the rain and get a cup of tea at half time, aren't they?
Yep, definitely getting there to the bar, have a pint.
As Somerville drives the ball forward, heads the ball on by Cornell. Cornell shutting that ball down, and Dobson does very well, but it bobbles through to Gore, and Gore will have the opportunity to try and bowl the ball out, but no, he's happy just to bounce the ball, take a little bit of pressure out of the ground as we near half time here. There's plenty of injury time to be played. It's still goalless, not a clear real silent goal, but
Lavell's in.
As Lavell's in, he's chipped it over Somerville. It's going to be the opening goal, and it's bobbled in, the direct route straight through from Gore, and it's bobbled, and Slough haven't dealt with it terribly well. Straight down the middle, it bounced through, and Gore it looked like Lavelle just managed to hook the ball over the onrushing Somerville, and that is the opening goal for Chesham. Their first goal in 4 games.
It's a ball played forward by the goalkeeper Gore, and what you had was Simon Thomas and Rhys Short jump for the ball. Both of them missed it. The ball bounced, and it's bounced over Ryan Blake and Guy Hollis, and Lavell's come through, and he's clipped it. It's hit Jake, but it's bobbled into the goal. So they've had a bit of pressure there, but
yeah, you can't say necessarily against the run of play, but it's a bit of a sting in the tail for Slough. Slough will have a very different type of team talk now at half time, I would suggest.
Yeah, and it's unusual for them to go in at half-time 1-0 down at home.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how they fight back over. There's going to be a good 6 or 7 minutes, but Chesham taking the lead then as Dobson wins the ball well, plays it through, but Pearce guides this back to Gore. Gore off the deck, plays it up in the direction of Thomas, but headed up by Rhys York. Kept in well by Frith on the far side. Frith to McClurg. McClurg to Dobson's feet. Dobson steps over it when he would be better to control it. And it's played out no-nonsense style by Pearce on that far side. And Slough will have an opportunity to try and get some momentum and get some attacks going just before half-time. Yeah,
Slough haven't been in the game for the last really 15 minutes. And you can tell it's very bitty by them. They're not playing with any kind of consistency or fluency.
As for handball there, as the ball's out to Parsons. Parsons driving forward over midway inside the Chesham United half into McClurg on the edge of the centre circle. The Chesham players pressing and getting up. You can hear Pearce ordering them to get up, and Thomas plays a ball across the deck, and Cornell should have held on to it. And Cornell's battling well, kept hold of the ball, but it's now fallen to the goal scorer, who plays it to the feet of Thomas. Thomas now up against Hollis, but Thomas stops.
And it's Towner running past him.
He's holding the ball up, but he's played a blind ball, and it's a terrible straight out of play, and Smith wasn't on the same wavelength there, and Slough get the ball back into play quickly.
Ashley Smith, the player that ball was meant for, had a couple of choice words, should we say, that to describe that
Parsons
pass.
Drives the ball long, but that's going to be meat and drink for Pearce, but Dobson does well, flicks the ball on to Cornell. Cornell passes it inside to Frith. Frith on the edge of the box, plays a ball, tries to play a reverse ball, but it's well cut out there by Fletcher, and now Hollis is
giving it away
defending by himself. York came all the way out, and well covered there by Fraser, using his pace to get back well, as Blake and Thomas were looking to get forward. Flicked on well there by Whittam, but it's all a bit harum-scarum at the moment.
Yeah, Slough just not getting any kind of consistency with their passes there. George Frith tried to play the ball through, but straight to the right back, Tommy Fletcher. He didn't see where he was, just saw the Slough player. But I think the management team have got a tough decision to make at half-time. Like you said, the subs today aren't fully fit, and not the ones that we want, maybe. People like Warren Harris or Scott Harris, so they're going to have to make something up.
Yeah, as then two Slough players almost collided, as Rhys York came through the back quite strongly there, and Dobson on halfway line with Ballard in close attention. But Slough just win the throw in there, but again, Chesham seem very up for this game.
Yeah, it's a local derby, so their season's a bit stuttery at the moment after last season, so they're going to try and get into this game, and they'll be disappointed with their league position.
As there's head tennis amongst the centre-backs, as York heads it back to Pearce, and now Hollis is under a bit of pressure, and he's nearly undersold. He's nearly undersold Somerville. Somerville should have been racing off his line if it was for me, as the ball's bouncing around. Cornell does well to flick it to McClurg. McClurg helps it on its way to Frith on the left-hand side with a bit of space. Smith coming down to close him down, inside to McClurg. McClurg looking to pass it into Dobson. Dobson passing it simply to Short forward to Parsons. Parsons now towards the edge of the box, cuts inside. He's going to have a pull the trigger. Is he going to pass it? He passes it to Dobson. Dobson flicks the ball around the corner to Cornell. Cornell into the box. They're trying to walk it into Cornell. Left foot volley across the goal. It's bouncing around in that area, but it's well cleared now by Ballard. And now Chesham will have the opportunity to attack with Blake running fast up to halfway line. He's going to look to switch the ball. It's a switch ball, but it's overhead, and it's going to go out for a goal kick. But that was good play from Slough.
It was much better. It looks like Slough have switched George Frith from the right and put Witham back over. Witham's on the right, sorry, and George Frith is playing on the left.
Yeah, it's half-time Arsley 0 to Hitchin 2, half-time Dunstable 0, Biggleswade 0. Some other scores just coming in from the Southern Premier League as Pearce eats out meat and drink. They've got to really not play to him in the air, haven't they? They've got to learn from that.
But if they are, they've got to try and win the second ball as well there, because the ball bypassed the Slough player straight to a Chesham player.
As once again, they're playing nicer football there. A good interplay there by Fraser and Dobson, and the ball just didn't quite come off as it should have done from Whittam. Not quite on the same wavelength as Cornell, as the ball's back with Gore. We're in the final stages. We've played 46.5 minutes. There'll probably be a couple more minutes here. Slough trail 1-0 to a 42nd minute goal from Leville. Not great defending by Slough on that occasion, as the ball bounced through, skidded off the surface. That was
the same as the goal, John. The ball's bounced over, and a Slough defender have gone for the ball along with Lavelle, and they both missed it, and it skidded through. So Slough got to try and win these headers first.
Fletcher heads the ball straight up in there, and then Pearce is up again. Pearce is battling there against Cornell, who's had no real joy out of him. But now Thomas flicks the ball on in the direction of Blake's coming across, and Summers is coming a long way. Chips the ball out of play
He's done well, Jake.
Good goalkeeping there. And
but Blake has got pace to burn, hasn't he?
Yeah, he was cutting across awkwardly there behind one of the centre-backs, the last line centre-back, and Fraser was trying to get across to him as ball's thrown into the goal scorer Laville's feet. Back to Fletcher, but Frith battling very, very hard. He seems to have a really good work ethic about him, does little George Frith. He doesn't open his mouth much, but he certainly works hard. As Hollis then up against Thomas, concedes the throw in again, and Slough could really do with not conceding here in these last couple of minutes of this first half.
Yeah, I think you just got to find the right position for George Frith. He's playing at the moment on the left midfield, which isn't his position, but he's kind of like a person that would be better off playing behind the two strikers.
Yeah, or in a bit of a free role, even if there was one striker up. He could play in the number 10 as the ball's driven into the Slough box. No nonsense clearance by Reshaw. We have played 48 minutes here. There may still be a minute or two left in this first half as all eyes are on Jake Hillier, seeing how long exactly he's going to say. As Dobson's just asking him, as Slough are under the cosh a little bit here, and Fletcher's trying to nick about 10 yards, but he's come back to take the throw in from in front of us as we approach that half-time whistle. Fletcher up the line towards Smith, but well cut out by Frith again. Frith still marking Smith down there. Another, we'll replay it as it was. Thomas tries to get the ball under control, misses it altogether. It'll be a goal kick, and I think that'll be Slough safely through with just the one goal deficit at half time.
I can't see the referee lasting this first half out much longer.
As the ball's out towards Whittam on the left, flicked on well as Lynn went under it, and Dobson now on the right hand side, cutting inside, tries to play a ball, plays it straight off Ballard, and now Slough under a little bit of pressure, but picked up well on the halfway line. Thomas working very, very hard. None of the Chesham players are giving up on any of these balls, are they?
No, they're being well marshalled in the middle field of the pitch with Ballard, and it's Towner that's come on as well.
As Whittam passes the ball out left to Parsons, the referee has another look at his watch. I think he's just going to have one final attack as George Short tries to control it, miscontrols it, just gets enough on the ball, passes it through to Dobson's feet, 30 yards from goal, quite central. He's going to look to play the ball out left to Parsons. Parsons collects it well, up against Smith, drives the ball towards the far post, headed away by Brown, flicked on by Blake, and that is half time. Slough 0, Chesham United 1. I'd say probably just about edged it, really, Chesham.
I think that Slough had the better of the first maybe 20 minutes of the game, but the last 25 minutes I think Chesham have slightly started to come into the game. They've stopped Slough having shots on goal, and I don't know whether they've deserved their lead, but they've taken the chance at the right time, and that's mostly the difference between the two teams. Yeah.
Some of the other scores in the half-time in this division: Weymouth 1, Dorchester 0. Bideford 1, Truro 0, a real West Country derby that today. Arsley, as we said, 0, Hitchin Town 2. Let's just see what else we've got here. Histon are trailing 3-0 at City. Chippenham Town 0, Poulton Rovers 1. So Poulton Rovers continuing with their good form where they left off on Saturday. Handy United, Hazen Yedding 0. And come on, you Hawks 1.
Hawks, would that be Whitehawk or Hampton Waterlooville?
Whitehawks, I think. As we say, so lots of people. The rain's just eased off a little bit. It is still raining. God, heaven forbid it's not going to actually stop raining, but it is still raining. But all the players are just making their off. A few of the Slough substitutes, including the Jesus lookalike Luke Knight out there, which is good to see warming up. Thomas is out there. The young goalkeeper Matty Bonnet's out there. But we'll sign off now. We'll leave you with an interview I did with Neil Baker after Saturday's game at Poulton Rovers, just reflecting on what he made of it and where the squad are at. Obviously it's changed and moved on since then, but we'll leave you with it, and we'll speak to you all soon. Hello and welcome to Rebels Radio latest interview. I'm joined by Slough joint manager Neil Baker following the 2-2 draw at Poulton this afternoon. How are you, Neil?
Yeah, very well, John. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. So what did you make of the facilities down at Poulton when you got there?
Yeah, I've been to Poulton a few times. It's a lovely little ground. The pitch was in great nick. There was a very, very big slope on the pitch, which I did remember from previous. But you know, it was one of those places where you sort of turn up to and you look forward to the game.
Pitch was a little bit on the short and narrow side.
Yeah, the pitch is small, which you know doesn't lend to necessarily lots of passing because it makes it very compact. Obviously, first half and second half, the wind had a big factor, a bit like Kettering away in the playoff final. It was a game of two halves. The old football saying, but it was. We sort of said after 5 minutes that we'd take a 0-0 half time because we were finding it very difficult to get out. And when you've only got one up top, which is what we started with and what we planned to start with, it was always going to be difficult because we weren't able to get the ball in behind Eddie because of the wind.
Yes, you say you played a 4-5-1 formation, and that was always the plan following your trip to watch them at Hitchin.
Hitchin
last Monday.
What was the squad news in terms of availability, fitness going into the game?
Yeah, well, obviously we had sent Scott Harris and Jake Parsons out on loan. Luke Knight wasn't quite ready to sit on the bench, and then unfortunately the morning of the game, Darryl, he was sick. We'd known about it sort of the previous night, but we were hopeful that he'd be okay, but unfortunately he wasn't. So we ended up going to Portland with 14 players, which is fine. It wasn't a problem. You can only ever play 14 players, and in the end we actually only played 13. So so it is what it was.
Difficult first half.
Very difficult first half. As I said, we couldn't get out. But what we did say at half time was the 5-yard, 10-yard passes that we've been very good at recently, even those were going astray, and that can't be the fault of the wind. That is sort of switching off, getting sloppy, and also because I think we were struggling sometimes mentally. You find it difficult, but we went in, we regrouped at half time. We said it was a very similar situation to Kettering in the playoff final, and if we got the first goal, then we'd have a chance. And we came out second half and we had a right go at them. We worked really hard. We put them under pressure. Obviously, we could have got back into the game. I think Reece had a header save from the keeper, and then George followed up and hit the crossbar again. And you sort of look at it and think, maybe it's not going to be our day. Then your top goal scorer from last year, Eddie Smith, pulls his hamstring. 5-10 minutes into the second half, and you're looking at it thinking, well, we're not going to get anything from today. To be fair to the lads, they dug deep, and we got back in the game, and we got a great point really.
So, what was the latest news on people like Eddie? Obviously, Eddie picked up that knock and came off.
Eddie's pulled his hamstring. Straight away. He said that's sort of 2-3 weeks, maybe even a month. It was a proper pull, so that's a big blow. Obviously, Johnny's struggling with his rib. We don't know if he's going to be fit.
But Adam Cornell came on.
Adam Cornell come on, done really well. Thought he put himself about. We're really pleased with his second half performance, and delighted he popped up with a goal. And then a header from a corner, which we work on all the time, came off and got us back in the game. And then I thought it was only going to be us that were going to go on and win the game.
At all, were you disappointed that didn't come?
Yeah, I think so. I think we had a good chance not so long after we'd equalised, and Alex Whitten got in on goal, but just didn't quite sit for him. And then, to be fair, we started to get a little bit sloppy again, and a couple of mistakes at the back and in midfield, and they got in a couple of times, and they could have gone and nicked it. And to be fair, Jake's come up with a great save at the end. And listen, we'll take a point. When you're 2-0 down, you can't expect every game to be like Kettering, but we almost gave it another go. But what it shows is great character from the lads, and they don't know when they're beat, which is really positive.
And so now on to Monday. What sort of squad will you have there?
Well, we hope to have Darryl back. There's an outside chance of Johnny. Hopeful of Luke Knight, but we've got quite a few question marks. I mean, obviously Eddie's out. We've got a question mark over Dobbo, a terrible tackle on him at the end.
A couple of people nursing bruises.
Dobbo might be a concern. He's got a real lump on his foot. I know George Frith got a kick as well, and Adam Cornell did as well. I mean, there were some poor challenges going in at the end.
Yeah, what did you make of the referee today?
We don't often talk about referees, but both myself and John and their bench were very disappointed with the performance. We felt that he got a number of things not correct, and it was I don't know. It's one of those situations where I think both sides come off a little bit agitated by his performance. But we all make mistakes, so we just have to get on with it, and it happens in football. But I don't think we got the rub of the green with decisions today.
Was a draw a fair result?
I think so. I thought first half they were obviously on top. Second half we were on top, and as I say, they could have nicked it at the end. We could have nicked it. So. I think probably it was a fair result, and it's a good point. It's a good
still
point.
Maintain the unbeaten run.
Yeah, unbeaten still after 5 games. It was a long journey today. Halton's not an easy place to get to in terms of once you get off the M4, it's probably 45 minutes to an hour off the M4. So it's not the easiest place to get to. And no, credit to the lads, you know, they don't know when they're beat, and that's a really positive sign.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much. Look forward to hopefully a home victory against Chesham, who have been struggling a little bit of late. What do you know about them?
Well, I went to watch Chesham on Wednesday night. They come away with a 1-0 defeat against Cambridge. They didn't deserve to. They deserved to win the game, if I'm honest. Cambridge scored an absolute worldie just before half time, probably about 30 minutes in, and then sat back and defended for the whole second half. And I thought Chesham were very unlucky. So. Their results haven't been great the last 3, but I saw enough in them to know that they're a good side, and it's a local derby. I don't think Steve as chairman's ever had a result against Chesham. So listen, like we'll say, week in, week out, and I know it annoys 1 or 2 people, but they'll be tough opposition, and they'll work hard, and we'll have to work hard to get anything from the game.
Final question, so 5 games in, how do you kind of rate current performance?
Yeah, we're pleased. I think, you know, if we're ultra critical, well, obviously, you know, we'd prefer to be on at least another 2 points. I think we deserve to be on another 2 points. You know,
not necessarily from today though.
No, not from today. No, you know, from either probably the Hereford game more than the Biggleswade one. You know, and if we were sitting there on 11 points from 5 games, we'd be absolutely delighted. But listen, 9 points from 5 is a good return in your first season at Southern Prem, and what it's shown is that we can mix it. And yes, we've got to play a number of top sides, but we know that we can work hard, we can score goals, and that's the most important thing.
Well, brilliant. I'm sure we look forward to more attacking Slough performances with plenty of goals, get plenty of people down to Holloways for Monday for a big kind of localish derby.
Yeah, it'd be great. Hopefully there will be a good crowd.
Excellent. Well, thanks ever so much for your time, Neil, and we'll speak to you again soon.
Cheers, John.
Thanks.
Hello and welcome back. Oh, I've had a little bit of feedback there. Hopefully you can still hear us. It's all a little bit noisy as the Slough players have made their way back out onto the pitch for the second half. We're just awaiting the Chesham United players. It's 1-0 to Chesham at half-time. Was that a fair reflection, Aid?
I think it's a fair reflection on the fact that they've taken the chances and Slough haven't, and that's the only real difference between the teams. But I don't think otherwise that Chesham have had a really great couple of opportunities. But I think with Slough playing this 4-5-1 with just Cornell up front, he's lacking a little bit of help. Dobson's the only person getting near him, so we'll see what the management team have in mind for the second half.
Yeah.
No changes at the moment for Slough.
No changes, and also, as we said, I think in the first half, it's difficult because the bench is severely restricted due to the fact that they're missing quite a few of the players, with Johnny Dyer out, Ed Smith out, Knighty kind of just on his way back. He's in the squad, but I don't think they want to risk him. Scott Harris out, obviously Warren Harris and Adam Fowler out. Longer term, it puts a lot of pressure on a team.
It does indeed, and I know that the managers are very keen on building a team spirit, and bringing people in sometimes isn't the right thing to do when you've got a team that's playing well and unbeaten. So, they're clever guys, the management team. Don't tell them that, though.
I won't. They don't listen anyway, so it's fine.
I don't think anyone listens anymore.
No.
But I can see Slough getting more into this game. I think Dobson, and especially Witham, he's got to get a bit more onto the ball and a bit more confidence in him.
Yeah, and I thought Frith looked quite dangerous, but it was unfortunately only in patches, wasn't it? Really, it wasn't consistent enough for me in that first half.
Yeah, I think the injury that's happened to the Chesham captain Fothering kind of took a bit of stuff out of the game. So and Chesham came back into it better than that. So Slough got to come out second half, try a little bit different, and just be a bit more confident. And
yeah, I mean, they were still playing some nice football in that first half. The ball was zipping around, but it was just almost in that final third, they just lacked a little bit of quality in the end product and a little bit of decisiveness. No one really wanted to take on, apart from Dobson. He had a couple of decent shots, and Whittam, was it George Frith? Yeah, I think it was George Frith, just as you were coming down very early on, forced a good save out of Gore, the keeper. They haven't really been that much responsibility taken by any of the players to actually put a foot through the ball. They've almost been kind of Arsenal styling it a little bit, walking it towards the goal.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the time that what they're trying to do is play the ball over the top, and Chesham have got 2 big centre-backs in Alex Brown and Darren Purse, so that ball isn't really working at the moment, and when the ball's being headed back out by those 2 centre-backs, they're not picking up that second ball.
No, just to take you through some of the half times in the division, I'll hand over to you, Aid.
Yep, we have Arlesey 1, Hitchin 1.
You've got to do it in the kind of style of James Alexander Gordon. Yeah.
Bunbury United 0, Cirencester 3.
I don't know what he's doing.
I don't know what that was. Bideford 1, Truro City 1. Burnham 1, Hungerford 2 as a result from earlier on. We have Cambridge City 3, Histon 0. Chippenham Town 0, Portland Rovers 1. Corby Town 1, St Neots 1. Dunstable 0, Biggleswade Town 0. One we haven't got at the moment is Hereford versus Redditch. We have Poole Town 1, Frome Town 0. And we have Weymouth 1, Dorchester 0.
Yeah, so some goals around in most of the games today. It doesn't seem that any of the games are off anywhere. Chesham United just made their way out onto the pitch. We'll take you through their team. In goal number 1, Shane Gore. 2, Tommy Fletcher. 3, David Lynn. 4, ex-Slough defender Alex Brown. 5, Darren Pearce. 6, ex-Slough Andy Ballard. 8, Ashley Smith. 9, Ryan Blake. 10, Simon Thomas, and 11 goal scorer after 42 minutes, Ryan Laville. And on for the injured captain David Fotheringham, who was wearing 7, is number 14, Ryan Towner. And it doesn't look like they've made any other subs at half-time.
No substitutions at the moment.
And for Slough, obviously, as we said, they're a bit depleted, but they've got in goal number 1, Jake Somerville, 2, Sean Fraser, 3, Ryan Parsons, 4, Guy Hollis, 5, Rhys Short, 6, George Short, 7, George Frith, 8, and captain Jamie McClurg, 9, Adam Cornell, 10, Alex Whittam, and 11, James Dobson. And on the bench, Tom Moran, Ben Edwards, Jake Parsons, Luke Knight, and Darryl Thomas. And on the bench for Chesham, Josh Cooper, Josh Cooper, Connor Wood, Mark Nwoji, and Jamal Prosper. As referee Jake Hillier gets us underway, Slough shooting from left to right in this second half, up the hill towards the covered shed end, which is very well populated today. There's a good number in here. I think there might be in excess of 250 here. Would you say close to 300?
I'd say mostly near enough 400, to be honest, John. It's unusual to see both the stand in front of us packed and the corrugated covered end at the far side.
As the ball's just back in the Chesham United defence at the start of this second half and flicked on by Blake just down in front of us, but the ball had gone out and has spun back in, and Alex Brown's having a little moan at that as Purser and Cornell are reacquainting themselves on the edge of the box. Slough want to get some pace back into this game. Sean Fraser down in front of us, pass it out left to Ryan Parsons on the halfway line, plenty of grass in front of him. Workman passes the ball up to it's Whittam out there on the left, just gets the ball back and then decides to cut inside. Smith up in front of him, pass it across to McClurg. McClurg first time to Cornell, back to McClurg, just over the hip, but George Frith tries to cut it out, but now it sends Blake on his way. But
he's done well, he's won that back well.
George Frith did very superbly well to go to ground, did a great tackle, and now Dobson's feet, bounces off Dobson a bit, but McClurg's coming back. Now Dobson on the right, tight against the touchline, running deeply. He's going to try and cut it in with his right foot, but he's leaning back as he does, and he's popped it out. But that was great play by George Frith, good energy. It's
good play by George Frith. He lost the ball there, but he won it back, and he played a sensible ball. But Dobson there, he's running on the right-hand side, which is on his weaker foot. And Sean Fraser was standing right next to him. All he needed to do was just release him, and Sean Fraser would have crossed it in with his right foot rather than Dobson trying to do everything. But at least Dobson's having a go. Yeah,
Redditch apparently 1-0 up, we're being told through Twitter. We haven't had a look at all the scores that are coming in because we've been quite busy trying to get other stuff sorted at half-time. Aid's been telling us how he got absolutely drenched this morning and is going commando, which is a bit unpleasant, really. But ball's forward with Thomas now, just inside the Slough half, an outlet to the left-back, David Lynn. David Lynn steps the ball up, but pass it out to Blake, and Blake now up against Fraser, down behind the umbrellas to our left, tight against the touchline. And Chesham United throw it is, down in that far corner, and it'll be a long throw. It looks like Ballard making his way forward to take it. So, Aid, why are you so soaked?
I've been at work since 6 in the morning in the outside in the pouring rain, and I had to bring some clothes into work because I had to leave straight from work to come here. So what I've got is what I've got.
Okay, so you're moaning then, is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, as we're still waiting for the throw-in to be taken down in the far left-hand corner here at Beaconsfield, at Holloways Park. The grass is in good condition, the rain's still spitting, it's quite wet underfoot, but not too much wind out there, so it's good playing conditions for both sets of teams. They're just a little bit damp as the long throw comes in, it bounces short, and George Short knocks it behind for a corner to Chesham United, then pressing in these first couple of minutes of the second half. Yeah,
they are indeed. They're looking quite confident. Obviously that 1-0 lead's giving them something to go on, but Slough got to withstand this pressure with the tall people going forwards, with both Pearce and Brown going up for this.
Yep, so we're looking for an outswing corner from David Lynn on the left. It's driven in low. It's bounced around in the area, flicked away by Josh Short, but only as far as as goal scorer Laville, who slices it so badly it nearly goes out for a throw-in.
He's almost hit the corner flag with that one. Bearing in mind he's just on the edge of the penalty area by the D, but he's got the goal at the moment. That's the difference between the two teams, so can't be that bad.
No, as we have played 3.5 minutes of this second half, slightly behind some of the other games perhaps in this division, because there was a quite a serious injury, it looked like, to the captain of Chesham in the first half, David Fotheringham, as Dobbo tries to get up high, but he didn't manage to keep that kick in from Somerville. It's gone out just in front of us, so Chesham will have the throw in, which Ballard will take. No, leaves it for Lynn in the end, just down in front of us, just inside his own half, then wearing all claret with blue sleeves, claret shorts and claret socks, shooting from right to left, slightly down the hill as Ballard gets up well. Fraser now heads tennis it, and now Reece York, the ball's spending a lot of time flicked on by Whittam, and Dobson chests it well, pass it out left to Parsons, who's accelerating over the halfway line but shadowed by Smith, cuts back inside, short pass to Dobson round the corner to Whittam tries to step over it, gives it back to Parsons. Slough zipping the ball around well, chips it up in the direction, but Alex Brown's meat and drink there all day long, and passed in there well, but Dobson just can't get a foot on it as a good ball came through there from the centre back, Reece York. Just first time hit it, and
he's hit it first time, and I don't think Dobson was expecting it to come through straight to him, and he was kind of on the back foot there. If it had been a bit more alert, bit more ready, he would have been in with most probably a one-on-one against the goalie there. But
Slough not awake to that, and a short kick taken by Cord to Fletcher in the right back position. Fletcher up the line in the direction of Thomas. Free header from Parsons. He didn't get a lot of shouting there, and Lavelle now flicks it forward. Thomas flicks the ball on, but it will fall to George Frith inside his own half, up to Cornell's feet. Cornell back to Fraser. Fraser now tries to play it through to Frith, but it's over here. And now Brown takes a touch, just flicks it away from him. Inside now, Blake on the touchline. Inside to inside, and it's down in the left back position, left wing position for them, for Chesham United, for Laville. Cuts inside, chips it, and he hits the bar.
Great effort.
Great effort from the goal scorer. I'm not sure whether that was a cross shot or was that. Did you think he went for it?
I think he went for that. There, he's looked up and there's nothing really on for him. He's seen Jake a little bit off his line, and he's gone for a curler there. And it's just
clipped the top of the bar.
But good vision that.
Yeah, great vision. So Chesham very close to doubling their lead there in the 50th minute here at Holloways. Slough trail 1-0. And Brown once again wins the ball. Ballard flicks it on to Blake's feet. Blake, small ball off to Laville, who's coming more and more into the game. Outright to Smith. Smith chips the ball forward. Reece York needs to be awake, and he heads the ball clear, but it's only as far as Chesham United. And now Blake on the edge of the box, trying to pull the trigger. Cut off by two players, and
won a corner.
No, he got a goal kick off that because it flicked off Blake. Unluckily, as Alex Whittam just shut him down, and Whittam did well to defend there. But Slough pushing the boundaries, pushing the edges here, as it's quite close as to whether they go 2 goals down. It could put them in real problems. They came down from 2 goals down on Saturday, but it was a hell of a goal. If you feel that if they went 2 goals down against Chesham, that might be curtains for today. Yeah,
I think defensively Chesham have looked quite solid.
And once again, Brown wins the ball above Short there, and it's bouncing around in midfield, and it just passes by McClurg, but back from York to Somerville. Somerville just bobbled in front of him nicely, and he shinnied it forward up in the direction of Short, and once again the 50-50s here are being won by Chesham. Chesham being strong, but George Short pickpockets him, and then Ballard's not too happy about that. Short ball from Whittam down to Parsons. Parsons inside to Whittam. Whittam getting on the ball a little bit more. Frith wants it on the near side, but it's passed out to Fraser. Fraser inside the Chesham half. Plenty of time in front of him. Chips the ball through to the corner to Dobson. Dobson's trying to run round Brown. And Brown's taken a touch. He's clumsily.
And he's fallen into the wall, actually, Alex.
But he's
Brown,
off the pitch. He's off the pitch. So
he's mostly dented the ball, if anything.
But he was trying to shoulder and muscle Dobson off the ball to such extent that he didn't actually notice where the ball was, and kicked it off with his left foot clumsily. So Rebels have a corner on the near side. In swinging from Dobson.
Yeah, crowd just getting behind the team now.
A planned manoeuvre here as the ball's towards the near post. Cornell free header, and he seemed to glance it, and it's just gone a foot wide, and Brown's incessant with his colleague Ballard there. He's absolutely spitting at him almost, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean the problem there was it was a great header by Cornell, but no Slough player gambled on it, and if someone had been near that back post, they could have touched that in.
And there seems to be a very heated conversation happening between Ballard, Pearce and the very tall Brown at the back there. But the end result is it's a goal kick for Chesham United. We have 10 minutes into the second half. Slough still trail by a 42nd minute goal by Ryan Laville. A bit of a mix-up, but he's direct ball through from Gore, and it was hooked over the top by Laville over the on-rushing Somerville, and it was a soft finish, really, wasn't it, Aid? As George Frith makes his way forward, advancing towards the edge of the Chesham box. Now to Dobson, who's on his wrong foot on the inside, cuts inside, chips the ball in towards the far post. All the players duck underneath it, and McClurg screaming
having a go at the
Hillier.
referee for something, or other,
and I think they saw some contact in there on perhaps it was on Cornell, but I think it was just good physical defending. And you want McClurg to kind of try and focus on the game, as there's a couple of Thomas warming up on the far side, and it also looks like Luke Knight, Jesus lookalike, down there in the far left-hand corner warming up for Slough, so it may be that change is going to be afoot soon.
Yeah, I think Slough are mostly going to leave it. Like I say, we're 10 minutes into the second half, so depends how long Slough are going to leave it. 60 minutes or 75, might be too late.
As unfortunate mix up there by Frith, who tried to return the ball, but he only knocked it out of play. So it'll be a throw-in to Chesham, dashed down in front of us, where David Lynn on the ball throws it inside in the direction of Laville, the goal scorer. Back to the substitute, Towner. Towner interplays with Lynn on the back left-hand side, and Lynn now running forward, cuts back inside, and
good tackle by George Frith, and he's won a throw-in for Slough.
And Slough showing a little bit of hunger there. Ball thrown forward. Cornell nearly slips, but passes the ball well to McClurg. McClurg out to the left back. Seems a good out ball for that to Slough at the moment, but there's not too much coming as Parsons advancing down the left, closed up by Ballard. Looking for an option inside to Whittam. Whittam using his strength to try and hold off Fletcher. Fletcher kicking away at his heels, and the referee's just given a
he's
free
kicked it out, hasn't he, Whittam? So it's a throw-in to Chesham there, but
yeah.
I think Whittam was looking for more there.
I think he was looking for a free kick there from the referee, but not a lot being done by Mr. Hillier. As apparently Dorchester, in that match there today, there's been an attendance of an astonishing 1,509. Do you believe that? At Weymouth, Dorchester?
They do get quite a lot for their local derbies.
As the ball goes through from Somerville all the way to finds McClurg's feet. McClurg into Dobson. Dobson back to Whittam, and then gets the return ball. Dobson tries to do a quick turn. He's fallen to the floor, and Fletcher's just showing good, strong defensiveness as Smith steps over the ball there well. Thomas has it now, and Thomas just inside the Slough half on the right plays it to Fletcher. Fletcher's now got a moment to take stock. Cuts inside, looks for a Chesham shirt, and Ballard does well, but under pressure from McClurg, gives the ball away, and now McClurg's set free. McClurg passes out left to Dobson. Dobson one-on-one with Pearce, cuts it round Pearce, and he's through. He's through. Is he going to pull the trigger? He's going to look to cross it. He chips it across. It's behind. It's through to Cornell. Cornell.
What a
great save there by Gorers. A beautiful step over from McClurg set Cornell free, and Cornell tried to go back across the keeper, but the keeper left his legs trailing and just flicked the ball out. So that was Slough's best opportunity of the game.
And it's good football from Slough as well. They're playing it on the floor and playing through the midfield of Chesham, and that's what they haven't done for the whole game. And good play by Dobson. He's put it through. It looked like he didn't hit it hard enough, but McClurg left it. And Adam Cornell will be cursing himself, because if he'd dinked that over the goalkeeper, he would have been to score that.
Whittam on the far side, in swinging corner, drives it in. Cornell was at it. There's players all over the bodies on the floor. Comes out to McClurg on the edge. McClurg pulls a volley trigger, but is leaning back, and it's
actually hit the
satellite dish on the top of the stand. 3 points, but unfortunately no goal. And Slough just coming back into it over the last few minutes, and Pearce having a little bit of a moan now at the referee. I'm not sure what he's saying.
I think it was that as the ball went in, there was a collision in the box, and he went down, and he's complaining that he's been pushed over, but
I think he was just saying he might got blocked off, which I think he's just explaining to Hillier.
He's a professional footballer. He should know better.
I think he's just trying to influence him, as Brown is as well. Brown's having a good old bit of chat to Mr. Hillier, just making his job a little bit more difficult. As I can see Thomas still continuing to warm up for Slough on the far side. As Gore, after that fantastic save, clears the ball long from the goal kick, and Reshalk wins it. Fletcher now heads it inside, and now McClurg volleys the ball forward, but this is the danger of playing one up front. Cornell had come short, McClurg hit it over the top, and it's bounced harmlessly through to goal.
What McClurg's trying to do is knock it over the top, where Slough are getting the better when they're playing it on the ball and playing through. McClurg just needs to control the game a little bit more. He's a good enough player to do that.
He certainly is. So Gore wasting time already, which shows something about the Cheshire mindset, as once again Hollis and The two taller players there seem to hit himself, and
Yeah,
it just seemed to be a
York and
collision.
Short both going for the
Lynn
ball.
looks like he's down injured, but Slough are going to carry on playing. Lynn's up but
ankle,
hobbling.
knee injury, so
I think he just slid in there, but the ball's back with York, midway inside his own half, out right to Fraser in the right back position, inside to York. York under a little bit of pressure here from the goalkeeper. Back to Short. Short now to Fraser in the right back. 2 or 3 players decides to go for a longer ball. The Brown heads the ball up, but only as far as Dobson, and Dobson pushes Towner off the ball, but Blake in the left back position hooks the ball forward, and it looks a bit like Lynn struggling in front of us, but Chesham still on the attack. Blind ball played through by Smith. It wasn't his best. It finds Somerville.
no, but you could see when York and Short went for the ball there. York was like, he turned round and was moaning the fact that Short's jumped into him. So whether they're not shouting or not hearing it.
It's a long ball's taken through and it's bounced over, and very confidently Gore let it go through as 2 Slough players were attacking, but it was a direct kick from Somerville, bounced through, and both Cornell and Dobson were after it on the bouncing ball.
Yeah, good play by Jake Summer there, big long kick, and confident keeping by Gore there. He's just dummied it and let the ball go out of play. So not only is he a good keeper, he's a confident footballer.
He is. Poole have got a third now all of a sudden against Frome. Poole 3, Frome 0. So Poole continuing with their good form, which sees them at the moment sitting second in the table, equal on points with Corby. Corby at the moment are still a level at home to St Neots, so could be a change at the top of the table today. I know it's early days after today, it will only be 6 games gone, but Poole, the cream are starting to rise a little bit, aren't they, Aid?
Yeah, they are indeed, and there's a couple of teams here that can beat each other, but normally in this league you get a couple of teams run away with it.
As Hollis wins the ball back well, plays it off to Frith. Frith inside to Fraser. Fraser sets Dobson on his way up against Brown, and Brown does well, stands up, plays the ball along the floor to goal scorer Laville. Laville inside to Smith, who's attacking over the centre circle now, driving forward in his bright yellow boots, looks for options right, plays it into Thomas's feet. Thomas cuts back inside but has an overlap from Fletcher, but decides to carry on himself, but only succeeds in passing the ball to George Frith, and then Smith goes down like a sack of spuds, and he's really shouting at the referee, but Chesham continues to have the ball here. Ballard plays the ball forward, but it's only hit Frith. The ricochets
Towner going through.
Ricochets to Towner. Towner with his left foot drives the ball, but it's only hit the defender. Now Hollis is first to react. That was a nasty tackle. It looked
the
like
ref
a
hasn't
Towner.
given anything
And,
saying the ball.
and Hollis is appealing, but Chesham just seemed to fight. The tempo's suddenly upped for this last 30 seconds or so, and Brown's trying to be tricky on the halfway line. Just shoves an elbow in on Dobson as he does him, and back with Brown again. Brown looking to play with the ball. Where's he passing it? He's signposted it through, but it's to Fraser. Fraser heads the ball back. George Frith looks to win it and can't temporarily aside, and Blake trying to push Fraser all the way out. Towner on the left wing for Chesham plays it into the corner. Blake there. Blake on the very left edge of the box, out to the full-back, who drives it in towards the far post, headed clear by Parsons, but only as far as Ballard, who steps on the ball on the edge of the D, on the edge of the Slough D. Danger here for Slough. Slough pushing. It's in the box too. It's driven in, and it's a left-footed goal, and it's once again it is Laville. Slough didn't deal with that at all, and a left-footed strike through the box full of bodies, and that is the second goal, and Slough's unbeaten run certainly under threat now.
Yeah, that was poor.
So in the 61st minute. Poor
play by Slough there. They had a couple of chances to clear that ball, and they've not cleared it properly. And Chesham have done well and taken the chance, but they need to be a little bit more tight. And the problem is, if you're looking at the Slough players now, there's no one G'ing them up, no one giving them a charge.
No.
But it does look like Daryl Thomas is getting stripped and ready to come on.
Daryl Thomas has been ready. The management team look like they're going to make a change here. Slough 2 goals down, just as they found themselves on Saturday, but not with only half an hour to get back into this game. And they haven't really created too many chances as yet in this whole match in this second half. But Slough back underway now with Parsons in the left back position. Nice to know that Keith's playing. Keith Baker, Neil's dad, a former Chesham player. I believe he had quite a healthy signing on fee and a good wage back in those days where TV was black and white, and John Motson was commentating well in those days.
They had TVs in those days.
Apparently so. Keith's not quite that old, I don't think. But Slough now in danger of losing that unbeaten record as they are 2 goals trailing, and Chesham is still on the attack again. Lavelle looking for his hat trick. And they just seem to be winning in all areas of the ball, in all areas of the pitch, don't they, at the moment? As it's stepped over there well by the goal scorer Lavelle, off by Blake. Blake in the right position to Smith. Smith drives the cross in, and it's found Thomas's feet. Thomas strikes, and Thomas has made it 3-0. Slides it under Somerville, and Slough are in disarray here.
And again, it's poor defending there, John. The ball's been played into Thomas, and he's got 2 men marking him. And all he's done is he's just held them off the ball, and then slipped it past to Somerville as he's come out. It was a substitution for Slough.
Yeah, so 2 goals in 2 minutes have really sealed this game. So Slough are really needing to get back into this game quickly. As off comes
George Frith's coming off Daryl Thomas.
Off comes George Frith, on comes Daryl Thomas. Slough will now change formation. A substitute in the 63rd minute here at Holloways. Slough trail by 3-0. It's been a long time since they've been 3 goals behind in any game. Yeah,
but we said earlier that Chesham were their bogey team, and they're certainly doing that today. They've been far better team from about the 20th minute onwards, and Slough at the moment haven't got much to answer for, but going up with 2 up front, that might be the thing.
Yeah, as the long ball's played forward, Purse well underneath it and deals with it well, heads it up, but McClurg interested, but Slough want to show at least a bit of character for this big turnout, and Thomas gets his first touch on the ball, plays it short to McClurg, out left to Dobson, who's now in his familiar left wing position, drives the ball in towards the far post. Whittam's after it, but headed just cleared by Lynn. Keeps it in on this near side. 2 players around him, cuts inside, passes it to McClurg, 30 yards from goal. Out left to Parsons. Parsons pursued by goal scorer Thomas, who's got a little bit more energy in his legs. That goal's lifted him slightly. All the way back to halfway to Hollis. Back to Parsons. Slough knocking the ball away round. Will this sting a reaction? Parsons towards the far post, but that's meat and drink for Brownlee, who heads that away to Blake. Blake takes it well with Fraser in contention, and now left-footed ball all the way forward. 2 hard struck to Somerville all the way through, and Slough will have the opportunity to get forward.
Yeah, I mean, Slough defensively been quite poor today, and it's unusual because Guy Hollis and
flicked on, and Thomas now. Thomas in the right wing position of the goal, drives it across. Great defending from experienced Purse, as Cornell was snaffling there at the front post to try and score a goal, but Thomas immediately showed the danger that he can cause.
Yeah, but I mean, the partnership between Hollis and York has been pretty good so far this season. I know they're a new player in, but today they've been absolutely ravaged by the fact that Chesham seem to be playing a 4-5-1 formation or a 4-3-3.
It's 4-3-3. It's pretty fluid. It's like what Slough often have done so far to other teams, but left-footed corner on the near side, Dobson to take it. Plenty of movement in and around the box towards the far post. It looked to be going in the direction of Daryl Thomas, but Chesham bring it clear, and now Hollis gets the ball out well to Dobson. Dobson will have an opportunity, but he's in an offside position. He stupidly
just kicked the ball away.
He stupidly kicks the ball away, which you don't need to do when you're 3 goals behind.
No, not at all. Give the ball back quickly and then get the game on, but silly by Dobson.
And it's gone all a little bit flat here at Holloways, as all the fans to the right are just having this sunk in. I didn't actually notice the red card protest either.
I didn't
actually see it happening. I know there was plenty going on the pitch at that, in the 57th minute, but it didn't become apparent. There wasn't a big shout or there wasn't a big song, and so perhaps because of what's happening in the conditions and things, there wasn't that red card protest that there has been before.
There was some singing though at the beginning of the game, there wasn't there, John?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, I was expecting a bit more of a protest, as Gore manages only to find the touchline. The rain has subsided enough. It's just gently spitting here now in Buckinghamshire. All the shouting coming, though, from Chesham Utd, who've definitely got their tails up, who hadn't scored a goal for 3 games, have now made up for it by scoring 3 in one game. As Brown's got a high foot, but it sets...
And now the referee
finally decides to pull it back. He played a reasonable advantage. I think he's having a decent enough game, the referee.
It is, but I think when the ball's like that and you've got a possible head injury, you should stop the game straight away, whether the advantage is there or not.
Dobson with a free kick, 5 yards in, midway inside the Chesham United half. Slough would give anything to get a goal back into the game. We're nearly halfway through this second half. Slough trail by 3-0 here at Holloways. They're undefeated to this point. They're going to have to work bloody hard to keep that going. There's a low swinger from Dobson, gets blocked in at the near post, and Dobson then has a heavy touch, and it's gone out for a goal kick. But I think it's all just going a little wrong for Slough at the moment.
Yeah, and you'd be looking at the bench, John, to kind of like bring someone on, but as you said before, they're either not the right people to bring on in either like Moran or Edwards, who aren't really an attacking player.
Yeah, you've got Parsons, who's not quite fit. I'm not sure.
Both not 100% fit.
354, so a good turnout for Slough. Their best of the season so far in this local derby, and that's with pretty poor weather.
Yeah, and I think, like you say, John, if it had been sunnier, I think you'd have had a lot more people here today.
Had probably 500 as Gore's kick goes forward, and Thomas and York are up against it, and McClurg having his shirt pulled awfully, and now he's reacted. Now he's reacted to Ballard, giving him a little shove.
And that's not what you want from your captain.
And I think McClurg just getting a bit hot-headed. Probably his frustration coming out, but he was getting pulled back there by Ballard. And
but the referee saw it and gave the free kick. So
yeah, let the referee. But Ballard's then there. I think he knows, and he's just getting into McClurg a little bit there. McClurg needs to focus on getting this game turned around for Slough.
Yeah, I mean Andy Ballard's a tough character. He played for Slough in a pre-season friendly against Uxbridge, and I won't name the player that did it, but what someone did was they got him in bear hug, threw him on the floor and then stamped on his head. So he carried on playing. He's a tough nut.
Yeah, so hopefully McClurg will get back up. And but yeah, he was clearly fouled there. Just frustrated, I think, with the situation that Slough find themselves in. Somerville with a kick from just inside the Slough half, chips it up towards the far post. Short underneath it, but headed well clear by Chesham, and finds its way to Parsons in the left back position. Parsons tries to cross it across, headed back across by Reshawk. Acrobatic clearance by Pearce, but it hasn't gone very far, and it's one back in there by and that's a poor decision. It looked like there wasn't any full sort of a foul there by Cornell, and it just seemed that Fletcher went to ground very softly, and the referee seemed to get that one wrong.
He's fallen for that one, hasn't he? But Slough again trying to get into the game, and they're putting an aerial ball in, John, and the problem is if they are winning that first header, no one's challenging or gambling on that kind of winning header, or they should be playing it on the floor, but they're not doing it at the moment. It's not going well for Slough.
No, they need something desperately in the next kind of 5 minutes or so, because we're approaching the 70th minute mark here at Holloways. Slough trail 3-0. They need to get back into this game if they want to take anything at all from it. It's a strong header from Reshaw, comes in, and now it sets Dobson on his way up against the very solid Lynn. Yeah, Lynn, I mean, if you look round the Chesham team for man, they have been solid and strong. As Thomas wins that ball, flicks it on in the direction of Brown, and Whittam tries to get there, but flicked on by McClurg. But that's again meat and drink for Pearce, who heads the ball just up in the air, and Fraser ducks underneath it, tries to get the ball back quickly. And there's no Slough fans there just to try and get the ball, and Fraser picks it up very quickly. Just has to go and rescue his own ball from outside the pitch.
But you can see when Chesham haven't got the ball, they're bringing all their players, they're coming back, they're racing in, picking up a man.
Short flicks the ball on, but it's hooked clear by Brown, who's a no-nonsense defender there. And now Towner tries to break clear, but pickpocketed by McClurg, and McClurg tries to chip the ball forward, and again, he's moaning to the referee that he was fouled. I didn't think there was much in that either. He just got beaten by the ball, and then Smith and Parsons collide. The ball falls to Thomas, and Thomas back to Towner. Towner flicked through, and then Parsons intervenes, puts a foot in, and thankfully doesn't direct it to Blake, but bowls out overarm to the direction of Fraser. Fraser, heavy first touch, loses the ball,
and loses the ball,
but
they've tackled each other.
Comedy.
That's Ryan Blake and Andy Ballard have tackled each other.
Comedy there from Blake and Ballard, but they collide, and Reshawk chips the ball forward, but once again Pearce comes through strongly. Blake now on halfway inside to Ballard. Ballard coming into the game more, tries to pick a pass, plays it out to right back Fletcher. Chesham just happy to keep the ball here. They're not under any pressure here. They're 3 goals to the good. Just gets the ball back from Smith, still with plenty of time, just inside the Slough half. No one really shutting him down. Fletcher's heavy touch there, and Whittam wins the ball, and now Sean Fraser comes up towards halfway line. Rather telegraphs the ball to Dobson, has it back, but that's a hospital ball from Dobson. But Fraser does well to stick his foot in, and now Darryl Thomas passes it to Dobson. Thomas on the ball to Dobson, just down in front of us, tight to the touchline. There's not many Slough players in the box. Short ball to McClurg. McClurg across to Short. This is better from Slough, keeping the ball well. Short a long way out, has a dig. It's not a million miles away, and it's not too bad, to be honest. I wouldn't criticise George for having a shot there.
Yeah, no, slightly better, but the play before, again, John, was the same thing. Slough are knocking a big long ball over, and Pearce and Brown are winning every single header against Cornell and Thomas, who aren't the tallest of strikers. So when Slough play in the ball on the floor like they did just then, gave an opportunity for George Short.
Yeah, so we're just waiting for Gore to get us underway. He's not in any hurry with Chesham's 3 goals to the good here.
McClurg is still moaning at the referee about something, and what he should be doing is directing that into the players and organising them.
And geeing up the players. There's Ballard there. There's a strong touch there. Finds Fraser, though, deep inside his own half, towards Dobbo on the halfway line, back to Blake. Blake to Thomas's feet. Thomas tries to pass the ball off to the goal scorer of Brace, but now Thomas is with some great tricky feet on the halfway line, sets Short free, and Short now with plenty of time on the ball, looking for an option.
He's got no width though.
Is very direct and very straight, and he tries to play an impossible ball to Alex Whittam, but it doesn't just quite come off.
Alex Brown has just collided with Adam Cornell and elbowed him in the face accidentally, but Cornell field that one.
And now Lynn trying to get the ball forward to Thomas. Chesham playing with a good degree of confidence, which is justified because they're 3-0 lead so far, and they're slowing the ball down, just happy to keep ball. Townend inside to Ballard. Ballard outright to Fletcher. Fletcher now midway inside, stepped over nicely by Smith. Smith goes for the turn, but Hollis is out there quickly, just shoving Smith off the ball, but it only goes as far as Fletcher. Fletcher drives it into the box. York defends well away, but it's only as far as Ballard. It keeps on coming back from Slough. Delivered towards the far post. Thomas rises as well, heads the ball over, and he was onside. He rose well and headed over the bar.
And it's a substitution for Slough. It's looks like
Luke
Knight will be making his debut.
Luke Knight making his competitive debut for Slough, and I think it's going to be probably for Alex Whittam, would be my guess.
Yeah, no sign of a board coming up yet.
Oh, it might be a double substitution.
Yep, Jake Parsons looks like the other one that's getting changed.
So Short is being pulled.
Yeah, George Short.
Short is being substituted in the what is almost the 75th minute here. I think we played about 73 minutes. Double substitution.
Alex Witham is the other one coming off as well.
So Short off and Whittam off, and Parsons, Knight on, and Thomas, isn't it? I think.
No, Thomas was already on. It was Luke Knight and Jake Parsons coming on.
Yeah, Luke Knight, Parsons, and Thomas, the three substitutes all used. So Slough have rolled the dice now, and Luke Knight, with his hair in a ponytail today, will look to try and make an impact on this game. It's a lot to ask of him, but perhaps the management team. Hopefully they don't think this game has gone with 15 minutes to go, but hopefully just giving him a bit of a run out, and Parsons as well.
No, I mean Ryan Parsons has come over here onto
Jake Parsons.
Jake Parsons, so he's come onto the right hand side, so in his natural position. So Slough going 4-4-2 now.
As headed again by Brown, but immediately Knight heads the ball forward, returned by Lynn, and people playing for a show out here as the ball's played out to Lynn again. Lynn along the floor inside to substitute Cooper for Chesham, and someone came a long way, cleared it, but only as far as Smith. Heavy touch from Smith. Diving tackle by Parsons, who's forced him wide. Chipped across, defended just about in the way by Fraser. Out to the edge of the box. Ballon fires it in, but hits Fraser again. He seems to be everywhere at the moment and tries to set Jake Parsons away, but Jake Parsons is going to struggle to keep that in. He's ball's gone out. But also Chesham during that double substitution by Slough, they made a change as well, and I believe it was. I'm just trying to work out who it was. I think
12's come on, so it's Josh Cooper.
Yeah, I think it's the goal scorer who's given way.
That's gone
off.
I
think Lavelle's given way, and Cooper's on now. So Lavelle did very well, scored 2 goals, 42nd and the 61st. The 61st goal in the 61st being decisive as Flynn returns the ball up in the direction of York, but just gets a bit of a shot from Thomas, but puts the ball out of play.
Yeah, but Slough aren't clearing the ball properly, John. What they're doing is when they're clearing it, it's falling straight to a Chesham player.
Yeah, Chesham winning all the 50-50 balls out here. Held up well by the substitute there as Cooper looks for the ball and now down for the left, crossed in deep towards Smith, but it's over the top, and it will be a throw to Slough on the far left-hand corner, and a few of the Slough faithful just making their way round now. I think even though we've got 15 minutes to go, they're not sure that there's going to be too much more coming out of this game for Slough. I'm hoping that if Slough get a goal in the next couple of minutes, you never know. As Cornell wins the ball. Knight now, first few touches, chips the ball up the line, but it's out, hits the home dugout, not where he aimed it, and it's just not quite coming off as the rain starts to get a little bit heavier here. Yeah,
it's unfair. I mean, unusual. Luke Knight's a very good player on the ball, but poor performance there. But and there's another ball's just kicked straight to the goalkeeper for Chesham, and Slough just haven't been on it today.
Yeah, so ball with gore. I think everyone is a little bit deflated. Slough's belief seems to have gone, their confidence, their heads have dropped. It's a little bit unusual, but McClurg still battling around the midfield, wins the ball back, out to Jake Parsons. Jake Parsons rolls the ball to Fraser on the halfway line, on the right back position. Blind pass, Luke Knight does well to hold the ball up against Cooper. He's still using his strength there well, and he passes the ball out left to Ryan Parsons. Ryan Parsons in front of the Chesham dugout, plays the ball on the floor to Dobson. Dobson, close attention there from the Chesham defence, and then hooked quickly long by Parsons, but with no particular person in mind. And
it's gone out for a goal kick. Yeah, and that's the problem, John. Again, it's a long ball looking through. And on this kind of surface, the ball's bouncing on and skidding through. That's not the right ball to be played today.
No. And we're just waiting for the ball to come back into positions on the halfway line for the right back Fletcher to take it for Chesham United, who are leading 3-0 here at Holloways. We are almost 75 minutes into this game as McClurg trying to break through midfield, trying to show leadership out there, passes the ball through to Thomas on the left-hand wing, in line with the edge of the box.
There's only up
against Pearce. Tries to cross the ball, but it's sliced and overhit, and it's gone behind for a goal kick.
But that was better play by Slough there. But what they've done is they've got the ball and they've come through the middle, and that's where they're getting a lot of joy, but they're just not using it. They're not doing it every time. And
no hurry here from Gore in the Chesham United goal to take this kick. It's all a little bit flat. I mean, I don't think there's anyone who's particularly had a terrible game, but it just seems that the use of the ball quite hasn't been there. Yeah,
no one's kind of shone or taken control of the game, and Chesham have just gone through their business and just they haven't had to do a lot to beat Slough today.
They've been very clinical, haven't they? And I think that's one of the differences between the side, and in this league, clinical elements is sometimes what matters.
I think that's the big problem that Slough had this season. You know, the games against Hereford and Biggleswade where we've drawn, we should have taken some chances and maybe got more points.
As the ball, once again, typical of this afternoon, slashed forward by Ryan Parsons from the left back, but it's returned now, and Chesham getting the ball on the deck, but Ryan Parsons finds himself with it again, now plays it into Thomas's feet, up on the halfway line, back to Dobson. Dobson in front of the Slough dugout, looking for an option. Tries to pass it all the way across field, but he didn't look, and it's gone straight through to Thomas. Thomas then back to Lynn, and Lynn plays a long ball forward to Blake, who seemed to handle that, but falls to Cooper, 20 yards outside the Slough box, and then heavy touch there to Blake. And
is it the same Ryan Blake that played for Beaconsfield?
Ex-Burnham, yeah. Yes, ex-Burnham. Yeah, so there was those, and I think Smith also was ex-Burnham, from what I remember as well, who's had a reasonable game wearing the number 8 for Chesham. Obviously, Chesham have been struggling to score goals this season. They scored 3 in their first outing, and then after that point they scored 1 in their second, but then after that they've been struggling. They obviously missed Drew Roberts and Chris Dillon, who went over to St Neots, their close rivals.
And another substitution, and it is
Ashley
that man
Smith
going
just
off.
as we're talking about it. So Smith making way, and that's got to be the final substitution for them. And just trying to see from the board perspective who's coming on.
I didn't see a board go up.
No, I'm guessing this might be number 16, Mark Nwoji.
And it is, yep, Mark Nwoji.
Yeah. And ball, free kick taken by Somerville, and it's through to all the way through to Gore at the other end. Not a great day for Slough. This has probably been their worst day so far this season, I would say.
Yeah, it is. But you want these games, and have a bad game out early in the season, not late when it kind of like matters, when you've got a bit of momentum.
No, as once again York wins the ball, but it's headed well by Ballard, who's been dominant in that centre midfield battle. Jake Parsons underneath it, but only finds Blake, and now Lynn, who's been one of the men of the match, seems to have been everywhere. Inside to Ballard. Ballard, plenty of time, not getting shut down there by Knight or any of the other Slough midfield players there, and he chips the ball forward in the direction of Blake, but flip back. Now it's to the substitute, Nwoji, and Nwoji battling around on the edge of the box, plays it out left to Blake. Blake in the far left-hand corner, back to Flynn. Crosses it deep by Lynn, and it's into Somerville's arms. Somerville looks to set it on his way quickly, and I can't quite see where the ball's bounced, but it's chested out by Fletcher on the far side. There's plenty of umbrellas all wandering down.
Plenty of people leaving early.
Yeah, and the ball's back with Ryan Parsons on the halfway line, trying to find a pass, and Hollis is under pressure there from Thomas. It wasn't a great ball there, and now Slough played themselves into trouble, and Hollis gone to ground early, and Nwoji picks up the ball, but it's the other substitute, Cooper advancing towards the edge of the box, looking to pull the trigger, scoops one wide of Somerville, and Somerville had to play.
Corner is deflected by...
It was either deflected or Somerville got a touch on it, and it's a throw-in to... corner ball on the left-hand corner, which Chesham aren't in any hurry to take, and Slough aren't moving around, and Luke Knight doesn't seem to be moving that freely for me. He seems to just be holding his hamstrings.
No, Ryan Parsons had the ball there on the left-hand side, and he turned to have a look to see who was there and if anyone was available, and no one was there. They were all being marked by the players from Chesham, so need to use the width a little bit more.
As the corner comes in towards the near post, it's bouncing around in there, and God knows how that went all the way across goal and out the other side, but it's a goal. It's a goal kick. Pearce ends up on the deck, but Chesham will be very happy as we go into the final 10 minutes here at Holloways. Slough trail 3-0, and Chesham a decent value for that. They've certainly been not perhaps 3 goals better than Slough, but they've certainly been much more decisive in those key moments.
Yeah, clinical is the word that I think you used there, John, and that's so right for today.
Somerville launches the ball long. Well, Dobson wins the ball. He's one of the few Slough players who can hold their head up high and say he's done some decent things. As York's pushed off the ball too easily there for me, and it falls to Nwoji on the edge of the box, to Blake on the edge of the box,
and he's got a free kick. Fouled
Hollis
by
seems
Guy
to
Hollis.
wrestle him to the ground, and it's dead centre, 21 yards out, dead centre of goal. It's going to be a direct free kick, and this will test Somerville again.
I can't see what Luke Knight's arguing about. It was a clear foul there by Guy Hollis, and you know Blake's been a constant threat today.
Yeah, so we're into the final 7 or 8 minutes here at Holloways, and I think for Slough, sooner the misery ends, the better in some ways.
Yeah, the Chesham curse strikes again.
Yeah, it does, and I mean they haven't suffered a 3-goal. I don't think they suffered a 3-goal defeat all last season. In the entire season, the biggest defeat I think was a 2-goal margin in a few games, both here against Beaconsfield and then I think away at Aylesbury Town,
Kettering as well,
and Kettering
2-0 at home.
Yeah, so but to lose by 3 goals is unusual. As Blake stands up, lines up, big Slough wall in the way, but it's taken and it's deflected and really took the pace off it as
it was
Lynn took it with his left foot and clipped the top of the wall, thankfully, and the long ball launched forward, but Brown underneath
to the head of Alex Brown is just...
Which has been... I mean, to be fair, the 2 centre-backs from Chesham haven't had to work that hard to be made to look good this time.
No, it's just the ball's been pumped up to him high in the air, and
Thomas again showing his class, nice chest down to Cornell. Thomas with not too much support plays it outright to Jake Parsons. Jake Parsons with Brown up against him chips it towards the far post, but it's 2 Chesham players there fighting to head the ball clear. Slough just aren't at the races here.
And Luke Knight's gone up with a fist there. He should be sent off for that. That's disgraceful.
I think he might well get booked. I'm not sure what he led with there. I didn't quite see.
He jumped up there, and instead of trying to play the ball or get the man, he's put his hand up, and he's lucky that he didn't catch Ryan Blake properly there.
And nothing doing. He's just had a little word with him. I think that's quite lenient, the referee there. There haven't been any bookings today, have there?
Nope, not at all. But I mean, that was terrible, disgraceful. That was.
So sit on the fence, Adrian. Tell us what you really think.
Okay.
So
I don't want to sit on the fence today. We're going to get splinters.
You'll very much get splinters. As a number of the Slough faithful just make their way, it'll be interesting to see how they cheer at the end of this game. It hasn't been their best performance by far, and Reshaw heads the ball clear. Once again, he stood out in the Slough defence as a strong custodian there, but headed wide by Fletcher in the direction of
Every
Dobson.
time he's heading the ball out, John, the ball's falling to a Chesham player. There's not a Slough player wanting that ball.
They just we seem to be just a little bit off it, kind of not winning those second balls quite enough. And it's a disappointing day for Slough. I think the players will be as disappointed as anyone in how this has turned out. As Hollis launches a long ball forward, but once again, the right back Tommy Fletcher just shows what a good job defensively Chesham have done, repelling any attack from Slough.
Yeah, and Slough just don't look bright enough today. I know the weather's dark and horrible, but there's no bright from Slough today. It's very poor.
No, Parsons on the right hand side, left hand side, throws it to Knight. Knight crossfield ball, but it gets lucky because it hits Thomas and then goes to York. Simple things Slough aren't quite coming off now, but Fraser inside his own half, pass it to McClurg on the halfway line to York. York takes a couple of touches, left foot swinger out towards Dobson. Dobson rises well, but heads it only infield, and Parsons is after the ball. Jake, that is Jake, but has a heavy touch, kicks it over Fraser and out to Blake on the left wing. Blake, quick throw. Chesham still wanting to carry on playing. I think Ballard's just saying, what on earth are you doing? Let's calm it down. Plays it off McClurg, and I think Ballard's just with his age and experience is saying, let's just slow it down a little bit here, boys. We've got 5 minutes left. We're 3-0 up away from home. We'll take this all day long.
Yeah, they don't need to score a fourth. It's not going to matter. They've got the 3 points at the moment, so
Slough's undefeated record will go in their 6th game. They will remain on 9 points, and they will probably be mid-table at the end of this result as Reshaw comes through strongly, flicks the ball on, and now it's a running race, and Gore comes out well, chips the ball up in the air, and Thomas is shouting very loudly for the ball. Just shoves York in the back, and now York's watching the referee rather than getting back, and Thomas picks it up again. Chesham again just seem that little bit hungrier, that little bit sharper.
Yeah, it looks like Chesham have got like a man extra. They seem to be everywhere at the moment.
As the ball's back with the substitute Townend into the right back position of Fletcher. Fletcher now up the line towards the other substitute. Cooper overlaps in. Fletcher's done very well, taking it down into the right wing position, drives it across. Thomas steps over it. It's all the way to Blake on the far side. Blake tries to curl one in. Dear. If it had finished that way, it would have been a great goal, but he curls it just wide of Somerville's left hand post.
It was very lazy of him. The ball's coming to him, and he's got the time, and he's gone for the glory. Curler into the top corner rather than take a touch and drill it. So
Somerville clears it long towards Dobson. Dobson underneath it. but it goes over both of them, harmlessly out for a throw-in to Chesham United on the far side. Chesham United's second victory of the season, almost on us. It's 3 or 4 minutes away now, plus a bit of injury time. All quiet in the Slough dugout, and behind the goal to the right, which Gore's done very well. He pulled off one fantastic save to Cornell early in the second half when I think it was 1-0 at that stage, and it could have really made a difference to the game.
Yeah, but I think if you look at Chesham's fixtures, they've played a lot of the teams that are in the top. They played, you know, St Neots, Cambridge, Corby, Redditch, all teams that are at the top
and a long
half of
nasty
that
trip
table.
down to Churros. Chesham once again on the attack here, and Luke Knight just trying to tidy up back there along with Ryan Parsons. But once again, the energy level from Nwogi is just phenomenal as he shuts the ball down right in the left.
And Nwogi's been around non-league football for years. He's played a lot for Farnborough and in the Surrey area, so he's a very experienced player.
Yeah, I would say also that Thomas for Slough hasn't done bad since he's come on. He's looked quite lively, quite sharp, considering he's not 100%.
No, I think that the problem is Thomas and Cornell haven't really played together, so don't really have an understanding, but these things will come.
Yeah, as we go into the final few minutes, and a great turn in the box there, and he goes down softly, and
Penalty.
it's a penalty that Reshort's conceded. And it seemed a very, very soft one against Blake there, as Blake just rolled him, and York just seemed to kind of rumble him over. But this could be a fourth then for Chesham United.
But Reece York just doesn't seem to be bothered by it. He's not arguing with the referees. He's not complaining about the decision.
I think he's suggesting. I think he's pointing at Blake to suggest that he dived. I don't think he's at all happy with that. But
it's Thomas that's going to take it.
Thomas is going to step up for his second. Thomas against Somerville. This to make it Chesham's fourth and condemn Slough to a very heavy defeat here in the 89th minute.
Oh,
he raises it high and wide over the bar. That was an awful penalty. When a composure. So perhaps Justin was done, or justice was done.
Justin Bieber, was it? I don't know, but that is I've seen a couple of poor penalties
that
in my
ended
time
up on the
at
M40
Slough,
pretty much.
That's absolutely terrible.
So Slough let off a fourth.
It reminds me of Jason Punchin for Crystal Palace last season.
Cornell once again tirelessly working hard, but again Peirce comes along, no nonsense, hooks the ball out of play, and the back four for Chesham have appeared very strong as we go into the final 20 seconds of regulation time, as Parsons attacks down the left, tries to find it goes into the feet of Jake Parsons on the right hand side to Ryan Parsons back to Jake Parsons. They only pass to one another into Luke Knight to Thomas, and Thomas does flicks it well, but across comes right back Fletcher, but it's still bobbling around on the edge of the box. Luke Knight to McClurg in, goes for the 1-2 with Cornell, but it's just over here. They're trying to walk the ball into the net.
Cornell's is given an extra pass there to McClurg, who was never going to get the ball, and all he needed to do was just turn and hit it.
So, ball back with Gore, who bowls it out overarm to Lynn. We're into the first minute of additional time. Gore, Chesham on their way to their second victory, their second away from home, as the ball's in the right back position. Sean Fraser chips the ball forward. Cornell holds the ball up under a lot of pressure from Peirce, who's dived in, but now Fraser on his way, attacking up towards the edge of the box. Fraser drives it in, but well headed up in the air and clear. But only as far as Fraser. Fraser diving tackle in there by Lynn, who got lucky, because in the first half that was a free kick against Ryan Parsons.
And that's the kind of thing we were saying about referees before, was that tackle.
As Blake gets fouled twice, first by McClurg and then by Knight to make sure, and gets broken up on the halfway line. The referee's just looking to see how much additional time we've played as we've going to the 47th minute here at Holloways. Slough Town 0, Chesham United 3. Chesham United went ahead in the 42nd minute with a soft goal by Leville, and Leville doubled that, and I think it was about the 61st minute with a decent strike from the edge of the box through a crowd of players to Somerville's left. Somerville didn't have much of a chance, and then to rub salt into the wound, Thomas quickly made it 3-0 in almost the 62nd, 63rd minute when he finished off a move quite well.
Yeah, I think that goal just before half-time, John, was...
changed the game.
It changed the game because it gave Chesham the kind of encouragement and confidence to play their football, and Slough just seem a little bit down and not with it today. Yeah,
this isn't their greatest performance. Luke Knight's picked up the ball on halfway into Jake Parsons, gives it back. Knight up the line for Thomas to chase, and Thomas and Brown after it, but Brown...
And Brown has kicked that onto the M40 as well.
Brown kind of playing perhaps in a rather kind of simple version of the game, but effective.
That's what he did when he played for Slough, and the Slough players, fans absolutely loved him. He's honest as the day is long. He plays it simple. And he wears his heart on his sleeve.
As a soft free kick there given away by Thomas, I think it was, on wrestling there with the left back David Lynn, who's had a very good game for Chesham United. The referee, Mr. Jake Hilliard, just has another look. He's been quite lenient today, but controlled the game quite well. There hasn't been too much malice in there. There hasn't been too much
there's
intent.
a couple of challenges that maybe that you'd question a little bit, but he's just had a quiet word with him, and sometimes that's maybe a good thing, but it could be a couple more yellow cards today, I reckon.
So we've played nearly 48 minutes here at Holloways. The referee looking at his watch again as Reece York's up against it, heads it down. Cooper chips a ball through for Thomas to get after, and Hollis heads it back, and it only finds the substitute Nwoji, Nwoji,
and he's just lobbed it over the goal.
Who just tried to lob Somerville, who's slightly off his line, but Somerville now just rushing to get the ball back into play, but it's all a little bit too late. And Slough bench not looking too happy. The referee's blown the whistle, putting Slough out their misery. It's Slough Town 0, Chesham United 3. The two management teams just go and shake hands with their opposing number, with the Chesham United management team, and then with the referee. I don't think there can be too much moaning going on.
No, I don't think
a bad day at the office for Slough.
Yeah, I don't think Slough can complain anything about that defeat. They've not played well. They've no consistency in their play, and the chances they had in that first 20 minutes where they were the better side, they've not put away. And Chesham have done the exact opposite. They've taken the chances when they've got it and gone on to win the game.
And Neil Baker seems to be having quite a long conversation there with the referee. I'm not sure what he's very unhappy with, but he's really unhappy about something. It's not like him to normally have the go. John Underwood's walked away quite a long time ago, but Neil Baker's staying around the referee and really having...
I can't understand what he's arguing about, because...
there must be something that has happened over there that we can't have seen. He's shaking hands with the assistant there, but he's walking away. He looks very, very frustrated. So it'll be interesting to catch up with the management team afterwards and find out what that was
You'll
about.
have a very good interview later on then, won't you?
It might be a quiet car journey home, and we'll have to see what happens here. Is a lot of the Slough fans behind the goal aren't even waiting to cheer off their team, which is a little bit disappointing. There's a little ripple there.
I think that some of them are still hidden underneath the shelter, but yeah, I mean, a lot of them have gone home disappointed today. But that's football, John, and you've got to take the ups and the downs.
Yeah, and I think we've been spoiled with a great start to the season that Slough have had. As the final players just make their way off, it was Ryan Parsons who was the man of the match, awarded by the Barmy Army sponsors.
They didn't ask me, did they?
They didn't ask you, but I don't think it will make his memory any sweeter of this afternoon. Let's hope for better on Saturday when Histon are the visitors to Holloway, and let's get the monkey off the back quite quickly. But Slough's undefeated record has gone. They've gone down 3-0 at home to Chesham United, and we will wish you all a very good bank holiday afternoon wherever you may be.
Yep, enjoy the weather.
Enjoy the weather.